season finds Michigan flirting with their fortunes. Their performance equal parts pleasing as well as teasing. Their talents breathtaking as well as heartbreaking. But in this last Saturday in October, the Wolverines find themselves undaunted and undefeated in conference play. Iowa is next.
I need to make a collect call.
Ladies, be smooth and dial 1-800 call ATT for collect call.
It's free for you and cheap for them.
There is no smoother way to dial than right down the center. 1-800-CALLATT.
Can I get the car?
No! Okay, you are walking.
Save on every call. Use 1-800 call ATT for collect call.
Rated E for everyone.
This is what it feels like when I start draining threes.
This is what you'll see when you bring it in my lane.
This is what it feels like to be dunked on.
This is what it feels like to play in the NBA.
NBA 2K3. Sega!
Looking for some real thrills? Presenting the world's most powerful sport ATV, the 660R Raptor from Yamaha. For the ultimate in performance, nothing else cuts it. For a limited time, get 0% financing and 0 down on every Yamaha ATV.
Morning.
Whenever you need help with your heating, wherever you need it, your Bryant dealer will get it to you.
Found your paper in the driveway.
Whatever it takes.
Overcast skies here in Ann Arbor, Michigan. We are at the Big House for a huge matchup in the Big Ten. A couple of teams riding 4-game winning streaks. Number 14, Iowa, and number 8, Michigan. Let's take a look at the standings in conference play. Iowa, Ohio State, and Michigan all undefeated, but a win today for the Hawkeyes, and they may have a leg up on the Rose Bowl with a very favorable schedule ahead. Hello, everybody. I'm Mark Jones, along with Bob Davie here on homecoming weekend for the Michigan Wolverines. Bob, over the last 4 years, Kirk Ferentz, the head coach of Iowa, perhaps the greatest turnaround job in all of college football. Today, a signature game against Michigan. They seem ready to sign off on the Wolverines.
Mark, all of a sudden, Iowa is getting a lot of national attention. Everyone is talking about this football team, and they should be. Iowa's really talented and explosive on offense, averaging 38 points a game. But it's not just their offense. They've scored 7 touchdowns with their defense and special teams.
Meanwhile, Michigan has won several close games this year. There's a lot of nail-biters. This is a team definitely that favors substance over style.
Michigan, Mark, is 6-1, 8th in the country, but no one is talking about this football team. Maybe it's because at Michigan you're expected to win, or maybe it's because this team hasn't exploded yet. Mark, you get the feeling Michigan has not played their best game of the year yet. They're totally capable of taking their game to another level. If they do that, everyone in the country will be talking about Michigan after today.
Well, if there's a time for it to happen for the Wolverines, it certainly would be today. Iowa wins the toss and decides to receive, which is their custom. They started on offense in 37 of their last 38 games. They have been very proficient in the first quarter of play as well, taking it down the field and scoring points, especially this season. Grabs to kick off for the Wolverines, back deep for the Hawkeyes. C.J. Jones along with Jermel Lewis, who already has a touchdown off a kickoff return this year. And this one's going to go to Jones and through the back of the end zone. So the Hawkeyes will start off on their own 20-yard line. And first, let's go downstairs to Holly Rowe.
Guys, it's homecoming at Michigan today, and it's also homecoming for running back Fred Russell. It has been his dream since he was a kid to play here at the Big House, and he is doing it today for the first time, but as an Iowa Hawkeye. He signed a letter of intent intent originally with Michigan, but things turned out that he's playing for the Hawkeyes. He leads them in rushing. He says he's got butterflies, and I can tell you when he ran out of the tunnel for the first time today at warm-up, his eyes lit up. He's looking for a big day in the big house today.
All right, Holly, yeah, Russell was one of the last players out of the tunnel to come onto the field before the game started, soaking up the moment. First down and 10 for the Hawkeyes. Clark in motion. Little waggle, wide open, Dallas Clark. The big tight end gains about 9 before being brought down by Marlon Jackson. Brad Banks is having an outstanding year at quarterback, completing 59% of his passes, 15 touchdowns to just 4 interceptions. Here's a look at the Best Buy backs and receivers. We talked about Russell, Cervantes, Jones, Hinkle, and Dallas Clark, who caught the last pass.
Mark, and already you see the confidence that the Iowa coaches have in their quarterback, Brad Banks, and it's because of those talented receivers led by Dallas Clark, the tight end.
Banks showing you a little bit of his mobility on second down and 1 now. They give us to Russell. He's stopped up behind the line of scrimmage. Loss of about 2 yards on the play. Marlon Jackson making his second tackle of the game. Here's a look at perhaps the most talented offensive line in the country. Gallery, Steinbeck, Nelson, Lightfoot, and Porter.
Mark, you're right. They are talented. It's been well documented. 3 of those offensive linemen came to Iowa as tight ends.
Up front for Michigan, Romashek, Bowman, Lazarus, and Stevens. Michigan's front 4 gets a lot of pressure on the quarterback. They lead the conference in sacks. Third down and 3. 3 wide receivers in for the Hawkeyes. Banks has all kinds of time and finds his receiver, Maurice Brown, for the first down. Let's take a look at the Wolverine linebackers, Kaufman, Diggs, and Hobson, who's the leader among the group.
Victor Hobson, 5th-year senior. Really important to Michigan because he plays as a pass rusher in their dime defense.
On the corners, it'll be Jackson and Jeremy LeSueur stepping in. The safeties, a couple of strong ones, Drake and June. First down and 10 for Iowa. A deep set by Fred Russell, about 8 yards behind the line of scrimmage. And we have flags down in the play, a little movement up front on the interior line. Jim Lepetina is the referee wearing the white hat.
Players with snap. Offside. Defense. 5-yard penalty. Go first down.
Iowa, as I mentioned, has been very productive early in ball games this year, outscoring their opponents by a margin of 119 to 20.
Mark, and as we've talked about many times, Iowa elects to take the football after winning the toss. You talked to Kirk Ferentz why he does that. It goes back to 3 years ago when he first came at Iowa. They weren't very good on defense. They didn't want to give the other team the ball and be behind 7-0.
Worked well for them. First down and 5 after the penalty. Russell having a hard time on his first 2 carries, brought down by Sean Lazarus, number 97 for the Wolverines. Early in the season, Michigan was looking for more front push up front. They're getting it now.
Mark, you're going to see number 97, Sean Lazarus, right here, getting penetration and making the play on Fred Russell in the backfield. Something really interesting that Iowa does. A lot of teams do it, but I don't know to the degree that Iowa does it. They script their first 15 offensive plays in the game. They rehearse those over and over on Thursday, Friday, and even Saturday morning up until game time.
Second down and 8. Pressure coming off the corner. Banks can hurt you by making plays on his own, and Brad Banks has a first down at midfield for the Iowa Hawkeyes, pushed out of bounds by Jeremy LeSueur.
Right away, Mark, you see why Brad Banks is such a weapon. He can hurt you with his legs as well as he can hurt you throwing the football. Right here, a predetermined quarterback draw with Cervantes, the fullback, as the lead blocker. Brad Banks takes it for a big gain.
Kirk Ferentz says that he is pleased but not at all surprised at the success that his first-year starting quarterback has had this season. A pickup of 14 yards, first down and 10 on Michigan's side of midfield. The team's third leading rusher, first down and 10. Here's the jailbreak screen. to C.J. Jones, and Jones gets about 4. Brought down by Carl Diggs, the middle linebacker.
Mark, you can see one advantage of scripting plays early in a football game. There's no rhyme or reason sometimes why they do things as far as the defensive standpoint looking at it. Right there on 1st and 10, they come back with the jailbreak screen. You wouldn't really think of that call right there on 1st and 10, but it's because it's coming off the script, so it really keeps the defensive football team off balance.
You a fan of scripting?
I am, but when you script, you don't pay much attention to down and distance, and you can get yourself in some bad situations offensively.
And there's a look at the offensive coordinator, Ken O'Keefe, signaling for a timeout. With the nose of the ball resting at the 46-yard line, Banks will speak to the Brain Trust on the sidelines. An exciting day coming up today in college football. Plenty of action for you on ESPN and ESPN2. Continues at 7 Eastern. Wisconsin still looking for the first conference win, taking on Michigan State just up the highway from here. Charles Rogers leads the Big Ten, 123 yards per game. And then it's Alabama against Tennessee at 7:45 Eastern time on ESPN. College Football Saturday presented by the U.S. Postal Service. Alabama, one of the nice, I guess, kind of comeback stories, having a quiet success this year. And number 15, Tennessee, with Kelly Washington again making some rather, well, I won't say outlandish, because we're getting used to him kind of saying what he thinks of his respective abilities.
Was it Keyshawn Johnson that said, just get me the ball?
Yeah.
He makes Keyshawn Johnson look like a little field mouse with some of the brash statements he's made this past week.
He does not hurt for confidence. And there's a look at head coach Ferentz of the Iowa Hawkeyes. And it was interesting, a couple of weeks ago we asked him about his team's national ranking. He said, well, it's like, you know, temporary parking. I asked him about it again now that they're ranked number 14. He says, well, we got a couple of quarters in the meter now. We're comfortable.
They're going to get a parking pass if they keep playing as well as they're playing.
2nd down and 7. Dallas Clark in motion. Banks hits his mark. And it's C.J. Jones, his roommate and cousin, near the first down marker at the 40-yard line.
Mark, going back to the point of the diversity we've seen early with Iowa with the scripting of the plays. Once again, a different receiver, a different formation. Banks throwing the ball to C.J. Jones out in the flat. They have Michigan off balance. This script was designed probably Wednesday night by the Iowa coaches.
Out of the eye this time. Banks keeps it himself. It's going to be close. It was 3rd down and about a yard to go.
Not to belabor the script point, Mark, but you're forced to get off the script if you get an unusual situation like a 3rd and short. So that quarterback sneak right there would not have been predetermined as a call going into this game.
So they get off of the script for a play, but it works, and it's 1st down and 10 as Brad Banks gets the first down. Banks, we've watched his evolution and his progression during the year, and a big kind of signature game for him, Bob, was at Penn State in front of a crowd just as large as this one.
No question, Mark. And I go back to that first drive against Penn State when he scrambled for a big 1st down on 3rd and long early in the game.
1st and 10. Fred Russell having a hard time. Brought down after a gain of 1 by Diggs. Let's go to Reese in the studio.
All right, Mark, 8 undefeated teams left, 2 of them already in action. We are keeping an eye on Notre Dame and Florida State down in Tallahassee. They're knocking heads already. And the #1 team in the land in Morgantown against West Virginia, a team that runs the football well. You know that Florida State ran well on Miami, but of course the Canes are passing quite well. Dorsey to Andre Johnson, 42 yards, and Miami on ESPN2 up by a touchdown.
Rich Rodriguez having a pretty successful season this year, but big task ahead today against the Canes. And play the drive here for Iowa. Here's the jailbreak screen again, and C.J. Jones has room. And no one between him and the end zone. Touchdown. 39 yards for the score. The Hawkeyes lead. Jones with his 7th touchdown this season.
Mark, 2 jailbreak screens already in this football game. And when we get a chance coming off the break to look for the replay, you're going to see that Michigan had a chance with Victor Hobson to stop that. A big missed tackle, and Iowa shows what we've seen all along, the explosiveness of their offensive attack.
And Bob, once again, on their first possession of the ball game, they successfully march it down the field and score. And add the extra point as C.J. Jones romps 39 yards. The Hawkeyes in this game with Rose Bowl implications taking the early lead. 7-0 when we come back to the Big House.
Never yield to convention. Cadillac CTS. Breakthrough.
You guys okay here? Really into TVs? Then get into Best Buy. Right now, all TVs $299 and up are on sale. Plus, if you purchase by November 2nd, you'll pay no interest for 12 months. That's interest-free payments on every TV, from digital to plasma, for 1 full year. Sweet. Best Buy. Go ahead. Turn on the fun.
Yeah, hi. I'm having a problem with my PC.
No, it's not us. Call the maker.
Wait. What? Hello? Yeah, my PC isn't, yeah, I tell them no calls. Wait.
Not us.
But, wait, I have a... Wait. Boiler room. Boiler room?
Tired of getting the runaround? Then come to your local Gateway store, where our friendly staff is ready to help you. We offer in-store training and service, plus all the cool stuff you need to make sure you get the most from your PC. Gateway, a better way.
Getting pumped before your next meeting? I like that strategy, but your game face could use a little work. You have to go for everything. That gives you an advantage over the competition.
Thanks.
Good job.
Business travelers need a good game plan. Count on everything from business services to room service.
Grinch up that nose. You just gotta feel the face. You just gotta feel it.
Make 3 stays and earn 2 free nights. Call 1-888-MARRIOTT today. Marriott Hotels, Resorts, and Suites. Your Marriott awaits.
C.J. Jones with that 39-yard touchdown catch and run moments ago. A very impressive drive for quarterback Brad Banks. 5 of 5 for 65 yards last week in their victory at Indiana. He started off 6 for 6 and got them out to a 17-0 lead before winning 24-8. And Kading kicks off. At the 11, it's LeSueur. A flag down and LeSueur down at the 20-yard line. Let's take one more look at that touchdown.
Mark, the reason people call it the jailbreak, you see Dallas Clark releasing, you see Steinbeck, the left guard, releasing down the field. You're going to see the ball thrown behind the line of scrimmage. In college football, you are allowed to block downfield as long as the ball's thrown behind the line. The reason they call it the jailbreak, it's like the cell door came open and those linemen run downfield. Michigan, great recognition of this play. Victor Hodgson simply missed the tackle, and you see the explosiveness of C.J. Jones takes it to the house. So good design by Iowa, poor tackling by Michigan, and Iowa once again scores on their first possession of the football game.
We've seen them run that play well all season long. 1st and 10. John Navarre, quarterback, trying to bring him back, and it's incomplete at the 20-yard line, intended for Benny Joffrey, the tight end. John Navarre is coming off a career week last week at Purdue with 271 yards passing. Let's take a look at the Best Buy backs and receivers. Chris Perry a little dinged up. Askew with his versatility. Bellamy, Edwards, and Joffrey.
Ronald Bellamy, 17 catches the last 3 weeks in Big Ten play.
And the light bulb has really gone on for him. A senior, 6 foot, 200 pounds. 2nd down and 10. Navarre to pass again. And it's incomplete. Intended for B.J. Askew out of the backfield. And quickly, it's 3rd and 10. Up front, the offensive line has done a good job. Courtney Morgan stepping in for Stenovich, who's not playing. He's injured. Voss, Pearson, Petruzzello, and Tony Pape against this defensive front. Babineau, Cole, Klaus, and Hodges.
Mark, the ends are a little bit undersized. Michigan would like to run the football at those guys. Not here. It's 3rd and 10 already in the football game.
Bellamy in motion. Braylon Edwards with a tremendous catch in the first down at the 25-yard line. He was working on Antoine Allen. Take a look at this Hawkeye linebacker, Steen, with a big week last week, Barr and Worthy.
How about Grant Steen? Career day for a linebacker. 3 interceptions last week against Purdue.
Now look at the secondary. Johnson and Allen will be tested severely today. Sanders, a big hitter. Pagel really coming on in the last 4 games.
Secondary playing better, but undersized corners matching up against big, tall wide receivers for Michigan.
Edwards picked up 16. It's 1st and 10. Here's Navarre. Throws high. This time Edwards couldn't come up with it. And Reese, what's happening with Florida State Notre Dame?
Well, Mark, Trev Alberts and I sitting here watching the game, and we know that Arnaz Battle caught all 8 completions for Notre Dame against Air Force. So certainly you're going to cover Arnaz Battle on the first play.
What a great play call. You're thinking a quick run, first play of the game, play action, roll them out. Arnaz Battle, 65 yards, touchdown Notre Dame.
Irish on their first offensive play up by a touch.
Meanwhile, Reese, back here, not a good sign for the Michigan Wolverines. John Navarre, the starting quarterback, down and holding his leg.
You're going to see Colin Cole pressure John Navarre. Good, clean hit. It appears that he just fell a little bit awkwardly on that. And it's interesting, Mark, yesterday in meeting with Terry Malone, we asked him, and the point came up, Terry, I don't want to jinx you.
You did
tell me about your backup quarterback.
And there's a look at Brinton, the backup quarterback, the lefty. Has only thrown 10 passes all year, completing 5 of them. A good sign for Michigan as Navarre jogs off the field under his own power. Brinton coming into the ball game. Junior quarterback.
Interesting story. Brinton transferred from San Diego State. Had been on a Mormon mission. So he's a player that has a lot of experience, a little bit older, and he's going to need to show that maturity right here.
At least on this one play. They try to set up the screen. Askew breaks the tackle. Askew out to the 34-yard line, close to the first down for the Wolverines. B.J. Askew gives you so many different dimensions. We saw that last week against Purdue when Perry went down.
Mark, I'm not sure that on this play, B.J. Askew ends up on the opposite side of where the screen was supposed to materialize. But give Spencer Brinton credit. He didn't panic. He stayed with B.J. Askew, and that was a big play.
3rd and 1, Navarre back in the ball game. Here's Perry on his first carry. And Chris Perry has the first down out of the 37-yard line. Last week, Chris Perry got dinged up against Purdue. He suffered an ankle injury, but really showed a lot of temerity and guts in the second half, coming back and playing through that ankle injury, Bob.
The coaches, when they talk about his personality, it's pretty obvious why he fights back and he's a tough guy. They love his competitiveness and the kind of juice he brings to the table every week. Interesting once again there on the big 3rd down, they run to their right behind Tony Pate, number 77.
A.K.A. Fat Elvis, as he's affectionately known to his teammates. Navarre back to pass. Finds Edwards. And Edwards has another Michigan first down at midfield, tackled by Antoine Allen. Reese Davis, what's up with those Hurricanes?
Those Hurricanes are facing the nation's 3rd leading rusher, Avon Cobourg. Miami undefeated, and West Virginia dreaming of an upset. It's very, very early on ESPN2, but West Virginia's locking the thing up at 7.
Bob, you're a Pittsburgh guy, and you know West Virginia is a very tough place to play under any circumstance.
And I also know that little tailback is a dynamic little player. He's a heck of a little tailback.
Navarre on the up and out, going up top for Edwards. Covered well by D.J. Johnson. Guys up front protecting Navarre. One of them, guy we mentioned a few moments ago, Fat Elvis, Tony Pate. Bob, I see a resemblance, especially with the sideburns, the mutton chops, huh?
I tell you, that's kind of cold-blooded right there to go that far. But maybe that's the look he's looking for. Maybe we're giving him a compliment by going there. But one thing I noticed right away, he better be good at pass protection, because I joked with Lloyd Carr yesterday, are you tempted to just throw it every down against Iowa? He kind of winked and said, well, you know, we're a team that establishes the running game, but so far they've thrown it just about every down.
Yes, 7 times compared to just 1 run. And they look to pass again. Navarre incomplete. Intended for Bellamy. Pressure from behind coming from Howard Hodges. And let's go downstairs to Holly.
Guys, you talk about the mutton chops of Pape, Tony Pape. Well, he's had them for so long, and people around campus started to know him by those, so he's dying to shave him right now. He's not getting any action from the women, but everybody knows him by the mutton chops, so he won't shave him off, and he actually likes the title of Fat Elvis.
Hey, you got to go what works for you, right?
The question is it working? Based on Holly's report, I'm not sure he's getting the kind of results. Iowa, Mark, interesting. They go to their nickel defense right now with 5 defensive backs. Scott Boylan matched on the tight end, Benny Joffre.
He's the walk-on who's been coming on underneath, incomplete. Intended for B.J. Askew, and Michigan will punt. 11-play drive ends in a punt. And they must beware of those Iowa special teams.
Mark, you sense how the Iowa offense has taken this Michigan crowd out of this game early. It's amazing that 107,000 people could be this quiet in this stadium.
Sometimes, as we've mentioned before, it makes it like they're a symphony crowd. Like they listen to some orchestra. They'll make some noise before it's over, and Hinkle is dropped immediately at the 11-yard line. Good coverage. And when we come back, it'll be Fred Russell, the Deuce, trying to get loose for the Hawkeyes, who have the lead 7-0 when we come back.
First reconfigurable luxury SUT. Cadillac Escalade EXT. Breakthrough.
For men, every morning it's the same routine. The desperate search for a way to relieve the pain after shaving. Finally, there's a better way to soothe your skin. Nivea for Men Aftershave Balm is an advanced blend of moisturizers and vitamins that soothe and actually improve your skin. Nivea for Men, more evolved skincare.
What is wrong with you?
Taco Bell's grilled steak taco tastes so authentic, you may pull a grilled steak switch out.
So you like carne asada steak?
Yeah.
Great. I've got some out on the grill.
The grilled steak taco. Tender slices of steak marinated in Mexican spices and grilled to perfection. For a taste that's irresistible. For authentic carne asada steak, think outside the bun.
ESPN's presentation of college football, brought to you by Cadillac. Bold vehicles, defying convention. And by Best Buy. For the latest technology, turn on the fun at Best Buy.
Welcome back, everyone. Homecoming weekend here in Ann Arbor, Michigan. A look at some of the old-time band members. And Brad Banks, meanwhile, spoiling the homecoming party for the Wolverine throng. 5 of 5. He's dealing a hot hand. First down and 10 for Iowa. Banks complete to Dallas Clark. And Clark came back to get it. His forward progress being marked up at the 22-yard line. Charles Drake, the safety, making the stop on the play. We're here at Ann Arbor, Michigan. Michigan taking on Iowa, number 14 against number 8. I'm Mark Jones, along with Bob Davie and Holly Rowe. Iowa has really dominated its opponents all season long in the first quarter, and that trend continues this afternoon.
Michigan, Mark, has been a slow-starting football team. We talked with Lloyd Carr yesterday about that. Really didn't do anything different in practice this week, but certainly discussed that with his football team.
Second down and short. Fred Russell, who has yet to get on track, finds a little bit more room this time. A little fumble. Still waiting for a ruling. And they're going to say it's Iowa.
Runner was down by contest. First down.
First down for the Hawkeyes. They're going to mark it at the 28.
We're going to get another look at it right here. You see Charles Drake coming up. He was definitely down, Mark. That was a good call by the official coming in there late.
Important that we make that distinction because the Big Ten officials certainly have been under a lot of heat in the last few weeks. First down and 10 for Iowa. Backside of the eye. Banks still red hot and picture perfect to Dallas Clark out at the 48-yard line. Brad Banks is on fire. A 20-yard pickup.
First and 10, play action pass. You're going to see Dallas Clark off the play action fake, freezing the linebackers. Zone coverage, no depth. Brad Banks throws it in behind the linebackers against the 2-deep zone. Excellent play call right there on first and 10. The play action made the linebackers suck up. Dallas Clark wide open.
2 tights and 2 wideouts. Single back set. Banks now 8 for 8. Mo Brown with a first down at the 35-yard line. You know what? Call him Doppler because he has his radar locked in. Number 7 is on point.
And it's so difficult if you're Michigan because all you've talked about all week is line up and stop the run. So they play action to Fred Russell. They once again hold the linebackers a little bit, and Brad Banks throws a rope on the square end to Maurice Brown.
Brad Banks, a quarterback that waited his time. Kyle McCann was the starter for a couple of years. He patiently waited after transferring from UCF. He's 8 of 8 for 111 yards already. With 6 minutes to go here in the first quarter. And he finally throws an incompletion intended for Brown. And let's go back to Reese.
All right, Mark, down at the dope, Chris Ricks led his team right down the field, and he's looking for the playmaker, Antoine Bolden. He's a fine player, but he doesn't have Dallas Clark hands. Drops the touchdown. Xavier Bethia hits the field goal. It's 7-3 Notre Dame about halfway through the first.
Lloyd Carr said that this Iowa team is the most physical he has seen all year. 7th-year head coach for the Wolverines. Got his team a little bit fired up for this one.
Mark, with the fullback in the game in one back set like now, it's normally run for Iowa.
That's what Banks does. Breaking tackles and making people miss all the way down to the 17-yard line. Brad Banks out of Belle Glade, Florida. First down and 10 Iowa after an 18-yard pickup.
Mark, he's not only accurate, as you said, throwing the football, he can run the football as well. Another predetermined quarterback draw. Very difficult to call defenses if you're Jim Herman from Michigan with the different array of weapons that Iowa's putting on you right now.
He has made so many key plays for this team in their magical season. And perhaps a romp towards Pasadena in the Rose Bowl. First down and 10. Blitz coming for Michigan. Banks tucks it under and is brought down to the 14-yard line. Tackled by Carl Diggs on the play. Iowa with that extra dimension when you have a quarterback, Bob, that can make plays.
Mark, and it all starts with the running game. I'm sure right now that Jim Herman in Michigan are surprised a little bit at the aggressive, wide-open approach that Iowa has chosen right here, throwing the football with Brad Banks. So difficult when you prepare all week. Iowa coming in here with Fred Russell, homecoming game source for Fred Russell, and they throw the football on you and change it up early in the game.
2nd and 8. This drive started all the way on the Iowa 12. Here's Fred Russell hitting the edge and hitting it big. Russell down to the 1-yard line. First and goal for Iowa. Fred Russell picks up 13 yards, and the turbo finally kicked in.
The outside zone play, they pull the big offensive guard Steinbeck around. Fred Russell beats the perimeter and gets to the corner.
Fred Russell had thoughts of going to Michigan. That was where he dreamed of going. But his dream season is evolving in an Iowa Hawkeye uniform, and he's extremely pleased about it. First down and goal to go. This is the 9th play of the drive for the Hawkeyes. Jones in motion. Banks. Incomplete. And broken up by Drake. Intended for Dallas Clark, and Banks really waited that one out.
Mark, I think Kenny O'Keefe has done a great job calling plays so far in this football game, but the naked boot on 1st and a half a yard on the goal line with that offensive line, you may be a little bit too wide open right here. That could have been a huge turnover. So I love the fact he's open, he's keeping them off balance. But with that offensive line, Mark, run the football in the end zone on 1st and goal, right?
There you go, 2nd and goal. They're going to run it. Freddie Russell stopped up. He was fortunate to jump back to the 2-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and goal. Good penetration that time by Norman Hoyer. He missed a couple of games, and then coming back this week along with Diggs on the play.
Mark, interesting call right there. Iowa is not really a toss sweep type of team. Once again, with those offensive linemen, you question why they would try to get outside on the perimeter with a play that deep. The toss sweep, and they lost yardage on that play.
Back at the 2-yard line, 3rd down and goal. Brown in motion. To Brown, incomplete. And the Michigan defense holds. It'll be 4th down and goal. And on comes the field goal unit.
They bring Maurice Brown across in motion. Good protection, good window to throw the football. No one in the throwing lane at all. He just throws the football behind C.J. Jones. First poorly thrown ball of the day. But Mark, put an asterisk by this field goal attempt right here. Iowa had the ball 1st and a half of yard to go for a touchdown, and maybe was a little too wide open here.
Navy has made 15 consecutive this year. Make that 16 straight. That one coming from 19 yards out. The Iowa Hawkeyes thinking about the Rose Bowl. Should they get by Michigan? John Navarre gets the reins of the Michigan offense when we come back.
It's week 8 and the NFL Countdown team's on top of its game.
That's a fact.
We're in Dallas as Emmett rushes towards history.
Unbelievable! Emmitt Smith has done it again. How do you go from nowhere to somewhere?
Is Tommy Maddox the next Kurt Warner? Deuce dishes about his success in the Big Easy.
Jim Haslett sings the Reborn.
Plus, John Madden and late-breaking news from Chris Mortensen. Sunday NFL Countdown, 11 a.m. on ESPN.
I can't sleep, Mom. There are monsters in my closet.
I have an idea. There, honey. Feel safe?
Now the monsters are under the Caravan.
No, they aren't. I'll show you.
Dodge Caravan. A feeling of security no matter what lies ahead.
Told you so.
Sure. Let's hide under the minivan. Great idea.
Sea Monsters, Inc. Now on DVD and in the Dodge Caravan. Get 0% financing for 60 months or $2,500 cash allowance. Plus Dodge's 770 powertrain limited warranty.
Welcome back to the Big House here in Ann Arbor, Michigan. I'm Mark Jones along with Bob Davie, Holly Rowe down in the field. In this, a huge game for the Iowa Hawkeyes and their collective program. A signature game, hoping to sign off on perhaps a berth in the Rose Bowl should they get by Michigan today. They've come out and made a very strong, profound statement, leading 10-0, scoring on their first 2 drives of the afternoon. Here's Kading to kick off. LeSueur watches it go over his head out of the end zone. Well, an old college rivalry renews itself in the NFL tomorrow night. Quarterback Peyton Manning could not defeat Steve Spurrier while at Tennessee. The stakes a little different now as the Colts are in the middle of a tight AFC South race. The Skids are led by linebacker LeVar Arrington and running back Stephen Davis. Indy and Washington, Sunday night at 8:30 Eastern on ESPN. Also available on ESPN Deportes.
I know who the quarterback is for Indianapolis Colts, but who's going to be the quarterback for the Washington Redskins?
It's Alvin Gore this year. First down and 10 for John Navarre and the Wolverine offense. Complete to Jopu, the tight end, for the first down at the 33. Brought down by Peggy. Reese Davis, a lot of ACC things happening, too.
Hey, let's go down to North Carolina and Wake Forest. You guys are enjoying a couple of fine tight ends in your game, and Wake Forest has one to James McPherson and Ray Thomas for the touchdown, and Demon Deacon trying to take another step toward becoming bowl eligible. Up 7-0. Purdue up by a couple of touchdowns on the Wildcats.
Today, a big bounce back Saturday for the Boilermakers. Navarre hands it off to B.J. Askew, tackled right away by Colin Cole. Right at the line of scrimmage. Cole and Klaus, two stout defenders on the interior, Bob.
Mark, interestingly, Michigan does not script their first series or their first 15 plays of the game. Terry Malone, the offensive coordinator for Michigan, does not want to get himself locked in because Michigan's had a history of teams playing them differently than what they've prepared for. But with Iowa, Iowa's defense is Iowa's defense, and they played the same thing just about every snap.
Number 2 against the run in the country. Out of the backfield is Chris Perry. Good, solid tackle that time by Grant Steen, who last week had a career week. The Big Ten's Conference Player of the Week defensively. Has 3 interceptions. All 3 of those picks, Bob, inside the red zone against Indiana.
He's going to want to play tight end on us. I'm telling you, he's created a monster when a linebacker, particularly one that wears number 42, which is an eligible number, they're able to open the whole can of worms.
Ken O'Keefe will be looking for him. Trying to recruit him over to the other side. 3rd down and 9. Steen comes out of the ballgame.
Iowa once again in their nickel package.
Butler in motion. Navarre to pass. It's complete to Tyrese Butler at the 39-yard line. Bob Sanders, a sure-handed tackler, makes the stop short of the first down by about 3 yards, and Michigan will punt. There's a few thousand Hawkeye fans that have made the trip from Iowa City, and they have been the most vociferous and vocal so far.
Mark, it's early. Michigan will come back and score against Iowa's defense. The thing they have to be careful, special teams. There could be another big explosion the way Iowa's been on special teams this year.
Here's Hinkle back at the 15. Eludes the first tackler. A flag down to the 15. Hinkle down to the 15 after that 45-yard punt. Iowa, one of the top teams in the country and in the Big Ten in punt return yardage, as well as kickoff return yardage. We can't speak enough about how well they've been on special teams this year.
Mark, they're basically first in every category in the Big Ten in special teams.
Let's go down to Holly with something on the quarterback, Brad Banks.
Guys, during the break between that last series, Brad Banks came over to the bench and had some medical attention. He's got a pretty nasty cut on his left arm. Got blood dripping all over his pants and arm. They put a big bandage on it. But I will tell you, he will be proud of that scar. On his other forearm, he got a bad bruise and bad scab against Penn State, but he kept picking at it because he wants it to be a scar as a little souvenir. I think he's got one from the Michigan game today as well.
He wears that stuff like a badge of honor.
I think maybe he's just taking a picture of the stadium or taking a little turf out of Penn State. I've heard different guys keeping souvenirs, but that one's a little different, isn't it?
Brad Banks, quarterback out of Belgrade, Florida. First down and 10. Last time they started at the 12. This time they started 8.
Brad Banks checking. He sees man-to-man coverage out here by Michigan.
3 seconds on the play clock. He checks to a run, and it's Fred Russell staying on his feet, keeping those feet moving forward, brought down to the 13. And let's go to Reese.
All right, right, Mark. Pittsburgh have been 6 quarters without a touchdown, taking on Boston College. Ron Rutherford going to throw a little fade to the freshman Larry Fitzgerald, who makes a fine catch. Panthers on top, 10-3. BC's next up for Notre Dame. They've added a field goal. The Irish up by 7 on FSU.
Amazing that the Irish have been able to be as successful as they have been without scoring that many offensive touchdowns. 2nd down and 5 for Iowa. Banks checking again. Whistle stops play. Getting a little noisy here in the big house now, Bob.
The cat and mouse game. Michigan up there showing corner fire. Another form of 8-man front. Brad Banks wanting to check. Took it right down to the 25-second clock. This is where Michigan's crowd needs to step up and help Michigan's defense. If Iowa wants to check.
For the snap. Delay a game. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Still 2nd down.
Make it tough on them. Take Brad Banks and his check system out of the game if you're Michigan's crowd right now.
Brad Banks showing a lot of poise, though, at quarterback. Told us recently that he's putting in extra time watching film in the coaches' offices and quarterback meetings, studying the playbook more. Says he's only getting about 5 or 6 hours sleep max per night, but it's all paying off when you look at the numbers.
And he's a senior starting for the first time. He doesn't have any years left. He's going to take full advantage of this opportunity he has.
Playing with urgency. 2nd down and 10. Russell. Out to the 11-yard line, and that will effectively end the first quarter of play. A very strong first quarter for the Iowa Hawkeyes, who are 4-0 in conference play. And a pivotal game today against Michigan. Their fans thinking about roses. Plenty of football left.
Lee Corso, future sportscaster star.
Kirk, you can take the helmet off.
Oh, okay.
Whenever you're ready.
I'll get it. Mind if I stand? Yo. Testing. 1, 2, 3. You guys getting this, or what?
Send in your 1-minute audition tape to the Discover Card Gets You on Game Day Challenge. If you win, you'll appear on College Game Day and go to the BCS National Championship. Visit your local Best Buy for details. And when you're at Best Buy, use your Discover Card. You'll earn a cashback bonus award and automatically be entered for a chance to win college football and home entertainment prizes. Just another way it pays to discover.
Jim! Hey, Mikey. Here's our TV. 57-inch widescreen. Looks even better than last week.
Can we take it home this time?
Therein lies the problem, Peter. The minute we take it home, I'm going to see it on sale.
You know, with Circuit City's Price Match Plus, you don't have to worry about that.
Huh. Don't worry, take it home. Because if you find a lower price within 30 days of purchase, we'll give you back 110% of the price difference. Circuit City. We're with you.
Does this mean my video game system can come home too?
From a master thief to an ambassador's wife, one picture can expose both stories. From Brian De Palma, Femme Fatale. Rated R. Starts Wednesday, November 6th.
Is the color of passion. My hot magma clipper cover is red. He's in the hot tub with a girl. And they're naked. You do the math.
What does your phone say about you?
We are are back at the Big House, Ann Arbor, Michigan. Number 8, Michigan trailing number 14, Iowa. 10-0 back for the beginning of the second quarter of play. Both teams undefeated in the Big Ten. Iowa 4-0, Michigan 3-0. Third down and 6 for Brad Banks, the quarterback of the Hawkeyes. And they spread the field. Banks. Complete to Mo Brown at the 28-yard line. There's a flag down, though, at the 35. Let's take a look at our Gateway game track so far, some of the cogent points of the game. The lone touchdown scored by C.J. Jones. Banks to Jones, a couple of cousins and roommates hooking up for the game's first score, and an important defensive stand by Michigan down in the shadows of their own goal line as they held Iowa on 1st and goal from the 1. Nate Kading making his 19th consecutive field goal subsequently to bring us to 10-0.
Mark, a huge third down conversion right there. Brad Banks showing his escapability, staying alive. The big throw, it was holding on Michigan. Iowa declined. Big first down conversion on 3rd and 7 right there for the Hawkeyes.
Brad Banks, arguably one of the best quarterbacks in the nation that nobody knows about, frankly. Here's Russell trying to hit the corner. And Russell, so far, Bob, has been relatively bottled up on that zone play they like to run.
I think Michigan's done an excellent job so far against the rush. You see the secondary, Cato June, come up and make the play on Fred Russell. Michigan is difficult to run the football against. They're 19th in the country in rush defense.
Fred Russell, a diminutive 5'8", and in the last 3 games, his productivity has dropped off just a little bit. First 4 games, he was averaging over 153 yards per contest. Look at Russell way back there at the 19-yard line. He takes the handoff into the boundary, and it's brought down off the corner by LeSueur at the 23-yard line. And action in the SEC today, Reese Davis. What's going on?
Mark, LSU's been sloppy early on. They've turned it over twice, and Auburn taking advantage at home. Ronnie Brown in there for the injured Cadillac Williams, and just as he did against Florida, Brown making some yards. 7-0. Auburn on top of LSU. Miami's added a field goal. They're up by 3 on West Virginia.
Interesting to hear Ken Dorsey become a lot more vocal as a leader at quarterback for the Hurricanes. 3rd down and 12. Brad Banks. His leadership is speaking volumes. 3 or 4 today on 3rd down situations. Has it batted down at the line of scrimmage by Shante Orr. He missed a couple of games, came back last week against Purdue, made his presence felt, and is doing so again today with an indelible image on 3rd down.
Shante Orr off the knee injury. I go back right here. It's 3rd down and 12 as you see Shante Orr get up vertical and block that pass. Fred Russell so far, Mark, tackled 4 times for losses today in the run game.
Bradley with his first punt. That was a little over 38 per. Curry brought down immediately at the 31-yard line. A nice tackle on the play after that 44-yard punt. John Navarre coming back on offense for the Wolverines when we come back after this.
Be raw, invent, move, step in and out of the groove. Liberation from limitation. Freestyle, acting in the now. Your brain never asking your body why. Not knowing what your next move is. No right, no wrong. Just doing it. That's freestyle with control. Freestyle. That's freestyle.
Go freestyle. Get live. NBA Live 2003. Rated E for everyone. EA Sports. It's in the game.
Critics everywhere have discovered the truth about Charlie. I've got it. It's stylish.
Just remember, I'm on your side.
Intriguing.
How long have you known Mr. Peters?
I just met him.
Oh, boy.
And ultra sexy. Brilliantly directed by Jonathan Demme. Wahlberg and Newton are great together.
I wonder what you're really like.
There's only one way to find out.
The truth about Charlie.
This is an operation of an extraordinarily delicate nature.
I get it.
Rated PG-13. Now playing at theaters everywhere.
I think in order to run a company today, you have to have the ability to inspire others. Success is not an entitlement. It has to be earned.
We had a great dream to be the leading computer systems company in the world.
First, my parents were pretty upset with me when I dropped out of college, but after a while, they got over it.
When I first came to Microsoft, my father asked me what software was. My mother asked a more interesting question. Why would a person ever need a computer?
I am still as inspired today as I was when I first joined the company.
A leader today needs to have a distinct view of where the business is heading, as well as a tremendous passion for getting there.
But it takes courage, it takes an entrepreneurial spirit, it takes vision.
As I look 5, 10, 15 years into the future, we're just scratching the surface of what's really possible.
Dell, Starbucks,
Microsoft, listed on NASDAQ. NASDAQ 100 companies.
10-0, 12:46 to go in the first half. John Navarre, first down and 10 for the Michigan offense at the 32-yard line. Navarre 5 of 11. Quarterback who last week made some big plays with his mobility. Bit of a departure from the norm. Underneath to Joffrey, complete at the 34-yard line, brought down by Worthy. Let's go to Holly.
Guys, this field was in terrible condition when Michigan played Penn State 2 weeks ago. The field crew here has spent over 3,000 new plugs that they have put into the field 6 inches deep to try to shore it up. They have put more moisture in the field to prevent some of the slippage and the divots coming up, but so far it's coming up pretty good here, guys. Next year they will replace this turf with field athletic turf.
I think there's 2,999 plugs because Holly just took one of them out of that field.
I hope she replaces all divots today. Second down and 8. Perry cutting it back between the tackles, brought down to the 38-yard line by Bob Sanders, number 33. A few weeks ago, Perry was the conference's Offensive Player of the Week. This year, he has dropped 10 pounds and gotten a lot faster.
Oh, he's a good-looking athlete. But going back to the field, if it would affect anyone, you'd think it would be Iowa, who plays on a great turf field in their own stadium and their practice fields. So far, it hasn't affected them much.
Right. Tyrese Butler in the ball game.
Iowa once again in their nickel 5 defensive back setup.
3rd and 5. Incomplete, intended for Butler, the 39-yard line. 4th down, and the Hawkeye defense holds. There was some heavy heat brought that time by the Hawkeyes. Jonathan Babineau on the edge.
You're going to see Iowa in nickel defense, straight man-to-man coverage underneath with 2 deep safeties. They put Scott Boylan, number 4, a defensive back, in to cover Benny Joffrey. They are normally a zone team, but they go to man-to-man against Michigan right there.
3rd punt of the day for Adam Finley. Hangs up a high one for Hinkle, who calls for the fair catch. At the 14-yard line, a 48-yard punt by the man Lloyd Carr calls maybe the best kicker we've had here in a decade. We'll be right back.
You look. You stare. You hold your breath. Your pulse races. Is it the clarity? Is it the performance? Is it the sleek design? Flat panel high-definition television by Samsung. It's digital temptation, and everyone's invited.
When you choose a different definition of wealth, ignore trends, but embrace change. When you can be counted on. When you laugh out loud without embarrassment. When you're good at saving and giving. When you know what really matters. When you love and learn and live well on your own terms. When you do more than you have to and get more than you ever expected.
ESPN's presentation of college football, brought to you by the amazing world of Samsung Digital. Everyone's invited.
Hey, that's what the Michigan field looked like before the game. They got it fixed up. Not just kidding. That is the Mud Bowl, a homecoming tradition here at University of Michigan. I'm not sure what the over-under was, but I didn't see a lot of catches or touchdowns. And you got to be a real mudder to play well.
You know, those parents pay money to send those kids to college. Really, I mean, they actually pay money to send those kids off to school to do that.
That was a class. That's for credit, isn't it? First down and 10 for the Hawkeyes, who lead 10-0. Give this to Russell, who still has not gotten on track offensively. Brought down to the 16-yard line, picks up about 2, brought down by Norman Hoyer on the play.
Michigan so far, Mark, has done an excellent job against the zone play. Here you see Fred Russell cutting back, but LeSueur, number 90, coming off the block, making a play. Norman Ure. Fred Russell, something I have not seen so far this season, already 4 negative rushing attempts. Iowa, normally a team that doesn't give up penetration up front. Michigan doing a good job against the run.
They run out of the eye this time, and Cervantes drops into the flat. Banks almost intercepted by Marlon Jackson. He tried to hit Jones. And it'll be 3rd down and long to go for the Hawkeyes.
A great matchup in this football game. You're going to see C.J. Jones on Marlon Jackson. That was a triple cut. That was in, out, back in. Marlon Jackson stumbled a little bit, or he may have come up with a big interception right there. The ball was, I believe, tipped by Diggs, the linebacker. May have cost Marlon Jackson an interception. Marlon Jackson's a great-looking athlete, Mark.
Sure is. 3 interceptions on the season. One of the leaders in the secondary. 3rd down and 8. They run the receiver screen to Jones. And he's close to the first down. He got the first down at the 25-yard line, Bob. That seems to be their bread and butter play.
Iowa does not want a bad situation to get worse. Here they again. You notice again it's to Steinbeck's side. He comes out from the offensive line position. C.J. Jones, big first down. But Mark, Iowa in 3rd and long is a conservative football team because they don't want to make a negative situation more negative. That's why they're a great screen team.
So patient in what they do. Jermel Lewis now in a tailback. The play fake. Banks throws it away. Had Jones in the neighborhood. Incomplete. And in case you're just joining us, here's the lone touchdown of the game so far. The key play. Banks on the jailbreak screen to his cousin and roommate, C.J. Jones, for the touchdown, romping 39 yards. That made it 7-0. Kading added his 19th consecutive field goal, his 16th consecutive this year, to make it 10-0. And there's a look at the offensive numbers and the passing yards so far. Brad Banks started off red hot like he did a week ago against Indiana, connecting on his first 9 passes. 2nd and 10. They set up the screen. Jermel Lewis got a nice block, stays on his feet, and is tackled just shy of the 34-yard line. Let's go back to the previous play.
Mark, Iowa comes with their backup tailback, Jermel Lewis. And you see Jermel right here miss the block on Victor Hobson. If you're going to be a tailback at Iowa with the competition they have, you better step up and take advantage of your opportunities. But in his favor, he came back and made a play on the screen.
And speaking of the competition at the position, Aaron Greving, the starter at the beginning of the year, recently quitting the team, stepping away from football to reassess his future. 3rd down and 1. Fred Russell back in the ball game. They're 4 of 6 on 3rd down situations today. Brown in motion. It's Russell time. And the Deuce got the first down at the 37-yard line. 1st and 10 Hawkeyes.
Fred Russell running downhill once again on the zone. The receiver coming across, and Maurice Brown got a little bit discombobulated right there. But Fred Russell hitting it north and south. And Mark, he's so low to the ground, just because he's about 5'6", he's difficult to get underneath. Right there, you see the size differential between him and Gallery, the big offensive tackle.
Fred Russell still gets a lot of love here in the Detroit area. Wide open Dallas Clark at midfield, and a first down for the Hawkeyes. The All-American prospect with a nice pickup down to the 42, a 20-yard gain.
Mark, it's a clinic once again on play-action pass. You see the tight end Dallas Clark? They're going to fake the play action. It makes these linebackers bite, and a huge void in the zone right here that Brad Banks takes advantage of. Once again, set up because Michigan grinded all week, stopping the run.
Clark just sitting down in the zone, making the catch in the play. Russell into the boundary. Freddie Russell out of bounds at the 41-yard line. And okay, Bob, let's cut to the chase here. He says, tell everyone I'm 6 foot. That's a bit of a stretch.
I can't do it. What we'll do is just let the picture speak for itself. You can see right here the differential right here between the offensive lineman and Fred Russell. But the thing I love about Fred Russell, he always has a smile on his face. A lot of guys like to talk trash in the game. He gets up and just smiles. He's a guy that really frustrates you if you're a defensive football player.
The most improved player on the team over the last year. 2nd and 7, it's Russell time. Brought down at the 40 by Diggs. And well, we said that Russell always has a smile on his face, and here's what his quarterback had to say about his running back.
Person, you know, on the field, still laughing in the huddle, laughing in the backfield. I can hear him laughing when I'm calling the cadence. He laughing about something. Laughing after the tackle, just laughing. Everything's funny, Fred. So that's him. So you just know that's Fred. If Fred's not laughing, something wrong. So.
Can't shake him. 3rd down and 7. Banks going up top for Brown. And he had it in his arms and dropped it. Good coverage by Jeremy LeSueur. Brad Banks, though, laid it right there in the basket.
Mark, Iowa right now offensively is playing great football. But as an old coach, I go back to 2 things. 1, 1st and goal on the half-yard line, they don't make it. And here Maurice Brown, a chance to maybe come up with the big catch and another opportunity for points. So I look at it right now. They're playing well, but they squandered away a couple of opportunities.
Yeah, Banks and Brown have been on a very good vibe over the last 3 weeks. Last week against Indiana, Brown got a 65-yard touchdown pass and took it to the house. Bradley tries to drop this one inside the 10. And once again, the signature of this Iowa team, special teams, they down it at the 3-yard line. A 37-yard punt. John Navarre with the reins of the offense when we come back.
Guys, dinner's ready.
Pick it up later.
Hey, Mike, dinner's ready. Brendan, Frank, Barron, let's go. Dinner's ready. Hey, guys, come on. Dinner's ready.
Wizards Raptors, then Lakers Blazers, Wednesday on ESPN.
Is it all right if the Weasel stays for dinner? Absolutely. Grab a chair, Weasel. Let's go.
Thanks, Mr. Nesbitt.
Michelin would like to remind you there's only one safety feature on the road that actually touches the road. Michelin, because so much is riding on your tires.
Hi, this is Bert Brooks Tire, inviting you to Bert Brooks Tire for the best service and prices in Rome, Georgia.
Big 12 heavyweights take center stage on Big Play Saturday. The Nebraska Cornhuskers and Texas A&M Aggies. Big-time programs, long-time rivals. See them slug it out in College Station. This is what college football is all about. Big Play Saturday kicks off with Nebraska at Texas A&M, followed by Lethal Weapon on the Movie Bowl. Tonight at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific on TBS Superstation. Presented by T-Mobile and Discover Card.
Well, for the second time today, Michigan starts 1st and 10 inside its own 10-yard line. Look at the huge discrepancy in total yards. Navarre hands it off. Chris Perry running hard between the tackles out to the 8-yard line. Jarek Pagel making the stop on the play. Chris Perry appears to be pretty much recovered from that ankle injury, at least so far. Last week against Purdue early in the ball game, in the second quarter, I believe, he had to come out and went to the sidelines and was cursing and was slamming his helmet, and he's not the type of player that likes to be out of action.
Well, he's a little bit worried, too. They're going to move B.J. Askew back to tailback, and B.J. Askew may take advantage of that.
2nd down and 3. Here's Perry again. Brought down just beyond the 10. College Football Saturday continues on both ESPN and ESPN2 tonight. Wisconsin trying to break out of their slump against Michigan State at 7 Eastern on ESPN2. Then at 7:45 on ESPN, Alabama looks to end a 7-game losing streak to Tennessee. The Vols' Kelly Washington has caught all of 1 touchdown pass this season. For more on our lineup of upcoming games, log on to ESPN.com. Keyword schedule. 3rd down and 2 for the Wolverines. Navarre fires complete. 1st down catch by Ronald Bellamy, the senior out of New Orleans, who's been evolving into a key player offensively.
Ronald Bellamy has caught 17 passes the last 3 weeks since they moved him back to X. Just a simple out route right there. Working on the corner, who's playing a soft 1/3. Ronald Bellamy, a young man from New Orleans, the fastest receiver on Michigan's team, according to Michigan coaches.
1st down and 10. Edwards in motion. They run it into a pile of tacklers led by Jared Klaus. Mullen Cole also there, and let's go downstairs to Holly.
Guys, I can tell you that Chris Perry's ankle is bothering him. He told us before the game that he would rather amputate something than miss playing in this game. But right now, every time he's getting up off the pile, he's walking very gingerly back to the huddle. Also, I saw him taking some kind of an anti-inflammatory or perhaps a pain medication here on the sideline. He's really a trooper right now, trying to get in there and play despite the pain.
Yeah, during the course of his career, Holly, he has been hampered by injuries, and he's a junior. He figures it's time to take his performance to the next plateau, and you can't do that on the sidelines. 2nd and 11. Navarre got hit as he released it, but completed the pass to Joffrey at the 36. Colin Cole nailed number 16 Navarre, but they picked up 16 on the play.
Michigan playing a 2-deep zone coverage. The Twins, they take the tight end, Joffrey, just sit him down in the middle of the zone. Benny Joffrey, Mark, one NFL scout told me he is the #1 NFL prospect in this country as a tight end.
At 6'5", 249. A very healthy and huge target. 1st down and 10, a little play fake. Edwards on the post, he's got him, and he dropped it. He got in behind D.J. Johnson on the post.
Braylon Edwards, Iowa playing zone coverage, quarters coverage. D.J. Johnson lets Braylon Edwards inside. And Mark, that should have been, could have been a touchdown. Not an easy catch, but the kind of catch Braylon Edwards will make 9 out of 10 times.
Michigan's talents, sometimes breathtaking and sometimes heartbreaking.
But Mark, you see the matchup that Michigan has on Iowa's corners. That won't be the last time you see the ball launched down the field like that today.
Certainly. 2nd down and 10. Flag down. Incomplete. Intended for Tyrese Butler, who is working on D.J. Johnson. I want to remind everyone that Iowa pass defense next to last nationally.
Do you know who's last in the country?
We've seen it a few times. I'd be lying if I said I didn't know.
We always
Idaho.
Idaho. Mark, you get the feeling, and we talked about it last night, that you keep waiting for Michigan to step up and take their game to another level. You know there's more in the tank than what you're seeing right now. The question starts to become now, though, is there as much in that tank as we thought? Because if they're going to step up and go, they better go now.
3rd down and 10, Bob. Nose of the ball to 36. Braylon Edwards back in the ball game after sitting the last play out. Edwards, Joppru, and Butler split to the top.
With Iowa playing so much man-to-man coverage, Michigan going to a little bit more of a bunch route to try to pick and confuse Iowa.
Backside pressure, Navarre sacked back to the 28, led by Howard Hodges, number 48. And if the play stands, it'll be Iowa's 24th sack this season, and the 5th by Hodges. But it won't stand. It's against the Hawkeyes. They brought a lot of heat on that play.
Offside, defense, 5-yard penalty, repeat, 3rd down.
3rd down and about 5 to go.
Iowa getting excellent pressure, though, with their 4-man rush. But it's another one of those little asterisk plays, Mark. When you look back at the end of a drive, Iowa gives Michigan life right here. And Norm Parker is not happy about it.
Norm Parker over the last few weeks has done a masterful job coming up with good schemes for their respective opponents, especially Purdue a few weeks ago.
And Michigan State double covering Charles Rogers.
3rd down and 5.
Iowa once again in man underneath coverage.
Navarre, Edwards almost made a spectacular grab, but it's incomplete. And the Wolverines are being shut out right now by the Hawkeyes defensively. With 3:12 to go.
We were really impressed a couple of weeks ago that Iowa's corners and secondary stepped up to the challenge against Michigan State. You can see today again, Antoine Allen way behind in the race in man-to-man coverage, but Braylon Edwards not able to make that play on 3rd and 5.
Finley with his 4th punt of the day, a low line drive spiral. Drives Hinkle back to the 13, where he calls for the fair catch. A 46-yard punt. Brad Banks, the senior, has waited for this moment, has waited for his time. Now on the big stage in the big house. The offense is his when we come back.
The legend was born in 1965 in the storied swamp of Florida. And as befits a legend, it began with a searing question.
Coach asked why we didn't go during the game.
The players weren't adequately hydrated and their performance suffered.
As the Gators marched through the season, they drank a carbohydrate electrolyte beverage created by University of Florida doctors.
Naturally, we called our stuff Gatorade.
In conditions that would make a salamander sweat, the Gators thrived.
Those boys drank that stuff and they became a second-half team. I saw it with my own 2 eyes.
In 1967, when the Gators won their first Orange Bowl, Gatorade had arrived.
Today, Gatorade is the most researched sports drink in the world.
And it continues to fuel champions wherever they're found. Humbly born on the hard-scrabbled gridirons of Florida, proven by generations of athletes. And just as the games never end, so the legend continues.
The Iowa Hawkeyes have lost to the Michigan Wolverines 7 consecutive times, but right now lead 10-0. On this, the 50th meeting between these two crews. A couple of teams right now in the big picture thinking at least a little bit down the road. A loss today would not be crippling for either one of them, but a win today would be huge for the winner.
Particularly for Iowa with their next 2 games at home and then a road game at Minnesota. Iowa only has 3 games left after this football game.
Brad Banks in at quarterback still. He's gone the distance. First down and 10. Gives it to Russell, who's brought down to the 14. And, you know, Brad Banks, Reese Davis, has a cousin by the name of Anquan Bolden.
Well, occasionally cousins get together and do something in simultaneous highlights, simultaneous moments. Chris Ricks from Florida State finding Brad Banks' cousin, Anquan Bolden, busting it against Notre Dame. He gets dragged down. Florida State eventually scored a touchdown to cap a 20-play, 93-yard drive. They're locked up at 10. Lee Suggs has gone into the house for the Hokies. They're up by a touch on the hour.
All right, Reese, I'll see if I can get word to Brad that his cousin's making out okay down in Tallahassee. Second down and 8. A little bit of contact in the secondary between Jackson and C.J. Jones. And let's go downstairs to Holly for more of the familial story.
Hey, Brad Banks has 13 brothers and sisters, plus his grandma had 14 children, so he's got a lot of cousins. As he said, they went all summer, every day, early in the morning. All the cousins would get together down in Florida, and they had enough to actually make up a practice squad. So the cousins making each other better for this upcoming football season.
Hey, Holly, that's a heck of an inter-squad game, isn't it, Bob?
I know one thing. There's a bunch of those cousins saying, you know what, I'm a lot better than Brad.
Try and get a little bit of run in those touch football games down in Florida. We have a flag down on the field at the 6-yard line.
Yeah. Illegal substitution on the offense. 5-yard penalty. Go third down.
This game evolving very much like last year's game when Iowa jumped out to an early lead.
And this game has a different feel, Mark, because you notice Iowa, we've seen them a lot this year. They're making more mistakes than they characteristically make. And they're in third and long a lot more than they normally are, and they're not running the ball that well. So this game has a feel to it. If Michigan can step up here and make a stop, and Michigan can cut loose a little bit of offense, we'll be right in the middle of another big-time football game.
Michigan with 3 timeouts remaining. Iowa with 1. We'll take a break with them. Stick around.
Just as a great city is made up of diverse and lively neighborhoods, a truly great university is made up of specialized academic communities. Each providing remarkable leadership in almost every discipline imaginable. Small classes, individual programs, personal attention, all backed by the resources of a world leader, the University of Michigan, where learning happens for one individual at a time.
Number 14, Iowa leading number 8, Michigan, 10-0. Those are the ball on the 10-yard line for Brad Banks, the quarterback of the Hawkeyes. Jamel Lewis, the lone back. The running game has been slowed up today by that Michigan defense. They take the reverse and give it to Lewis out to the 14-yard line. Reese Davis, what's coming up on the Nibia Per Men halftime report?
All right, Mark, we'll check in on the undefeated teams that are already in action. 3 of them doing battle at the moment. We'll see who the best team in the Big Ten is. We'll see if the first half has done anything to change Trev Albert's mind. He's been beating the drum for a while for the Hawkeyes, and LSU seems to be confused. They're not sure which Tiger they are because they keep giving it to the other ones. We'll get you up to date in a bit.
All right, Reese. Meanwhile, Kirk Ferentz telling us that we as a team have to be concerned with playing in the present, staying in the present, and because of the fact that we've lost 7 consecutive times to Michigan, make sure that we're not going up against the ghosts of the Wolverines' past, like the ghosts that emerged from last year's game. C.J. Jones scored on a 65-yard punt return in the 3rd quarter to give Iowa a 17-7 lead. Just when it looked like they were safe, John Navarre led his team back. Marquise Walker with a great catch made it 21-20 for Michigan, and then Sean Thompson on a 13-yard touchdown pass, providing the final margin of 6 points as Michigan won 32-26.
Mark, it's obvious your big-time players need to make a play. Marquise Walker last year with that one-hand grab and the interception started that comeback. It's time for Michigan's big-time guys to step up. They will be right back in the middle of this game.
Well, after the punt bump, they should be in good field goal position. Good field position. Bradley has the punt come down to Curry at the 48. And he's collared at the 39-yard line after that 38-yard punt. There's a flag down at midfield.
Mark, it looks like there's multiple penalties. You're famous, the one that you're in love with, halo penalty.
Right.
And then I think Michigan may be guilty of holding on this.
The receiver has to be given 2 yards or 6 feet to catch the ball. Bob Sanders may be a little too close there.
Mark.
Curry dragged down.
What really hurts field position is what I think you're going to see in a minute here from Michigan with the block in the back. I think you're going to see Jeremy Lesor right there, number 21, coming in late and blocking in the back.
The officials still sorting this one out. But one of the factors for the Michigan Wolverines is that their place kicking has not been good.
Mark, here's a look again. You're going to see Jeremy Lesor right here come in and block Scott Bolin in the back. Fortunately for Michigan, there was also a halo violation prior to that on Iowa.
We have 2 fouls in the play. We had a violation of the 2-yard radius on the kickers, illegal block in the back on receivers. We're probably going to offset. We're going to do the down over again. 4th down.
Oh, we'll punt it over again. As I started to mention, Lloyd Carr's team, not the best place kicking team so far on the season. And that's going to factor into some of the decision making here with time winding down in the first half. And Iowa has had sensational special teams this year.
Mark, this is really incredible when you look at this and factor in a block punt for a touchdown, a block field goal for a touchdown, a blocked extra point that they ran back for 2 points, and a kickoff return for a touchdown. Iowa has done it all in special teams.
Iowa very proficient at punt return coverage as well. Curry standing right near midfield. The snap dropped, and the Wolverines are going to have 1st and goal at the 3. Tyrese Butler recovering the ball. There's a flag down at the 2.
You're going to see right here Scott Bradley just fumbles the snap and puts the ball on the ground.
Looked like he was turning the laces one way.
Well, they got good pressure right there. You see number 9, Tyrese Butler coming. I think Tyrese Butler distracted Scott Bradley enough that he took his eyes off the football and put his eyes on Tyrese Butler. And Mark, do you think we jinxed Iowa with the special teams?
Well, maybe perhaps a little bit. But Bob, you talk about room service. That is a gift. The nose of the ball resting on the 1-yard line for John Navarre. 1st and goal. Michigan still has not gotten on the scoreboard.
I go back to Iowa, uncharacteristically, even though they're up 10-0, making mistakes in this football game that we haven't seen prior.
1st and goal. Perry stopped short of the end zone, just inside the 1-yard line. We're here in Ann Arbor, Michigan. I'm Mark Jones, along with Bob Davey and Holly Rowe. And this is a battle between 2 undefeateds in the Big Ten. Number 14, Iowa at 4-0. Number 8, Michigan at 3-0. There's a look at what Iowa has done with the lead this year. They have not held on to leads that well. Sean Sanderson now, the offset back out of the offset eye. The
Matt Truck in the backfield, 280-pound Sanderson.
They run over his way, and Perry scores. Touchdown, Michigan. Crab's 8th touchdown this season. The 15th career rushing touchdown. And they missed the extra point. That has been more the norm than the exception this year for Michigan place kickers. Philip Crabs misses the extra point.
We go back to the touchdown mark. It's a simple isolation play with the Big Mac truck, Sanderson, isoing on Fred Barr. Perry following the lead blocker. Iowa chooses to spill it, and the backside linebacker, Worthy, does not get there quick enough. But a great angle right here on the goal line. Iowa has life. Excuse me. Iowa gives Michigan life. But, Mark, Michigan's kicking game woes continue.
That'll quickly take the wind out of your collective sails. Crabs coming out for the kickoff. Between him and Troy Nienberg, they have missed a lot of field goals this year. Although on extra points, they were 9 for 9.
Lloyd Carr talked yesterday that Adam Finley, their punter, may do some place kicking. He was actually a place kicker in high school, had an injury, decided to stick with punting. At some point, you're going to have to give Brabs the hook here if you're Lloyd Carr.
C.J. Jones. Jones brought down to the 22, and let's take a look at what evolved during the pregame warm-ups. Brabs kicking field goals, trying to get into a rhythm, trying to find a vibe, and missing. As for Finley, the punter right now, well, that one not pretty either, Bob.
Wait a second now. I know those guys had to have kicked more kicks than that before the game. Did we just pick out those kicks?
That's kind of symbolic, though.
Let's give the guy a little. Let's give those guys a little love now.
On the season,
right?
Yeah. Okay. On the season, though, they are 5 of 14.
You're right. You're right.
Not an easy job.
Maybe that's what Lloyd saw right there with Finley, though, and why Finley didn't get the chance to kick.
Good point. First down and 10. A little over a minute to go here. Iowa leading on the total yardage front, but Fred Russell losing a few back at the 16. Hoyer making the stop.
Fred Russell.
Michigan 5 of 14 on field goals. In stark contrast to Nate Kading, who's made 19 consecutive dating back to last year's bowl game, 16 in a row this year.
He's incredible. He is incredible. He is a weapon.
And Lloyd Carr has actually intimated that he's used up all of his fake field goal plays already. Here's one of them against Utah. Crabs looking like a running back, Bob.
Well, sometimes if you just let a guy take off and do something really physical, it lets him get back into the flow of things. But there you see Brabs catching a pass out of the backfield. He's the total package. But I'm sure Lloyd Carr would wish he would just be single package and kick the ball through the uprights.
Well, the good news is for Michigan that in both those games where they faked those kicks, they won both of them by 3 points. Something of a signature for Michigan. They've won 4 games this year by 3 points or less.
And, Mark, it makes it so difficult on Lloyd Carr. You know, at some point, the simple thing and what you want to do is just have a big-time kicker. Let him go out and kick the ball through the uprights. You don't want to be diagramming fake field goals. You don't want to be coming up with fake fourth down plays going for it like he did last week at Purdue. So Lloyd is going through all kind of things, trying to come up with ways to solve this kicking problem. But you know what? The kicker just got to kick the ball and the problem's over.
Second down and 15. Iowa trying to get in field goal range for Nate Kading, who's made one already today. Here's Fred Russell, bottled up so far in the first half and brought down to the 19-yard line by Hobson. This is something new, Bob Davey. We haven't seen Iowa get stopped up in the running game like they have so far this afternoon. And a timeout called in the play. Michigan calls timeout. Plenty of college football coming your way today on ABC. Penn State against Ohio State. That's a huge one in the Big Ten. Iowa State against Texas. Iowa State trying to bounce back after getting drilled by Oklahoma. Virginia, Georgia Tech, and number 16 USC against number 12 Oregon. Who do you like in that Penn State-Ohio State game?
It's
going to be interesting to see Ohio State's level of competition pick up a little. I got a sneaky feeling Penn State and the Johnsons are going to get it going there.
I haven't seen Ohio State enough. We've seen Penn State extremely talented on offense with the Johnson brothers, Zach Mills. I think Penn State can play the run good on defense. How good is Ohio State throwing the football? I don't know. I think it'll come down to that.
They have not won. Penn State has not won in Columbus since joining the Big Ten.
Mark, something unfolding right here, I think that's really, I think a negative for Iowa. They're struggling running the football. Michigan has done an excellent job playing their linebackers closer to the line of scrimmage, running their linebackers through on plug stunts. It stopped the running game, but you notice Iowa's had success in play-action pass. But I worry a little bit if I'm Iowa. We have not established a running game to the degree we have in other games this year.
Interesting little chess match, point and counterpoint in the running game. They run it again to Russell, who once again loses yards back at the 15. Hobson making the stop. You talked about the linebackers getting in those gaps.
Mark, and that's one reason why the play-action pass has been open. There you see Diggs plugging. Once again, you see Diggs in the backfield. Iowa can throw play-action. But Iowa's bread and butter, the reason they can throw the play action is because they've been able to run the football. And right now you feel like Michigan has really a good handle on the running game.
This is not the kind of homecoming that Fred Russell had envisioned.
Michigan with no timeouts left. They're going to get the football back. Actually, it looks like Iowa can run the clock down here.
Run it down to 8. Before calling a timeout. That's their last one of the half. David Bradley, if you remember a few moments ago, dropped the snap on a punt, setting up that Michigan touchdown. And at this point, folks, we want to welcome the Sailors and Marines watching today's game on American Forces Network at Club Iwakuni at Marine Corps Air Station in Japan. Much love going out to people in the military serving our interests both domestically and abroad.
Mark, something really interesting. Bradley is a great athlete. He's the holder on the field goal and extra point team for Iowa. He's 16 for 16 this year with mechanics. So he's a good athlete. He just got distracted, lost his concentration the last time.
Last 3-4 games, he's in a bit of what you might characterize as a punting slump. A little bit surprised that Michigan would have a deep returner right here. They maybe should go with 11 man up and come with an all-out block right here with only 8 seconds left in the half. It's up a high spiral, driving Curry back to the 45. We're out of time here in the first half. A 49-yard punt. That's the end of the first half. As the Michigan Wolverines go to the locker room trailing by 4 points. Both teams trying to stay undefeated in Big Ten play. Let's go downstairs to Holly.
Go ahead.
Coach, it's very similarly eerie to what happened last year right before the half with the problems on the punt. How do you keep your team from deflating?
But, you know, we had terrible field position the whole first half. And I think the good news is we're a better team than we were a year ago. We're not going to let that get us down. We had 30 minutes to go.
How do you establish the running game in the second half?
Well, it's going to be tough. Both teams are having a hard time running the ball. You have 2 good defenses out there. We'll take what they give us, and, you know, we just got to be aggressive, keep attacking.
Thanks very much, Coach.
All right, Holly, it's 10-6 at halftime. Number 14, Iowa against number 8, Michigan. Coming up at the half, it's the Nivea for Men halftime report. Reese Davis. Gotta love homecoming, don't you?
Always, Mark. It's one of the great things, a great passionate Saturday. Get all the alums back. You're down 4, though, and Nate Kaeding with a huge advantage. This game stays close. In the Navy for Men halftime report, we start in Morgantown, Miami and West Virginia. Ken Dorsey to Kevin Beard. Beard picking his way to the doorstep, and from there, Willis McGahee would go into the end zone. But the Canes have been unable to assume control. It's a 17-10 game right now. Miami just up by a touchdown. That game going on over on ESPN2. Another undefeated team in a battle down at the Doak, and Notre Dame showing up large. We're back after this.
This halftime report presented by Nivea for Men Aftershave Ball. More evolved skincare.
Chris, Kirk,
and Coach. ESPN Game Day, Saturdays at 10:30.
You have the ultimate power to look better, to be stronger, to redefine your body and yourself. Introducing the Bowflex Ultimate. Gonna make you possibly the best home fitness machine ever made. In as little as 20 minutes a day, 3 times a week, you can get real results that can change your entire body. With over 90 health club quality exercises and up to 410 pounds of resistance, it's like having an entire gym in your home. Bowflex is so effective that we guarantee you'll get the results you want in 6 weeks or less. Own the new Bowflex Ultimate with no money down and monthly payments lower than many health club dues. Call and ask for a free video and brochure and check out the entire Bowflex lineup or visit us on the web today. The new Bowflex for ultimate results.
This might be a good time to talk about the Michelin X1. Thanks to Michelin technology, it gives you long mileage and better wet braking than any rain tire. And that should make everyone on a wet road happy.
Hi, this is Bert Brooks Tire, inviting you to Bert Brooks Tire for the best service and prices in Rome, Georgia.
Now get 0.0% APR financing on the 2003 Toyota Camry.
Back on the Nivga for Men halftime report. Homecoming at the Big House. Iowa and Michigan. And when the Loves come back, Trev, Eddie sticks the landing.
That's how Reese Davis entered the studio this morning. He's come back flipping in.
I did multiple
Yes, you did.
backflips coming in.
Not
you know
just
what, that
one.
just shows you age is a number. Youth is how you feel.
That's right.
Homecoming makes everybody feel young. We certainly do. 10-6, Iowa over Michigan at the half. You know, it's the final Saturday in October. The stakes are a little higher. The margin for error a little bit slimmer. And Notre Dame has an opportunity to prove it deserves to be where it is. Third in the BCS, number 6 in the poll. And you look at the way they've been a steady bullet going up. Florida State in a little bit of a free fall for most of the season in the polls.
Yeah, 6 right now. We'll see after this game. Obviously tied up 10-10, but they can continue to climb.
Bobby Bowden, Tyrone Willingham. Bowden has said, believes Willingham's coach of the year. I don't know that anybody would argue with him. Carlisle Holiday, first offensive play.
Love the play call, play action pass. Florida State had to expect a run. That's why the safety was up. And Arnaz, look at here. He runs to the corner, can't catch him. Touchdown Notre Dame.
The Irish up 7-0. Now Arnaz got 15 yards for a little excessive celebration. Made the extra point anyway, so no harm, no foul. Chris Ricks, Anquan Bolden, a rare moment in which a Florida State receiver actually helped out Ricks by catching the football. And look at how things are going for the Irish. Holiday was stripped by Alonzo Jackson, got it back and completed the pass for a 9-yard gain to Maurice Stovall. Ricks hits Bolden on a little slant. Bolden with some nifty moves gets down to the 3 that would set up a Torrance Washington touchdown, and Florida State 10-10 game at the half right now. Chris Ricks, his number's under 50%, but I don't think he deserves that. So.
Well, I thought both sides of the ball right now, the team's doing a pretty good job of shutting down the run. You see Greg Jones only 31 yards. Chris Ricks was going to have to throw. And Carlisle Holiday, you see his number 6 of 9, 114. Both weaknesses actually playing well right now.
Notre Dame, number 6 in the land against the run, and so far they've stood up very well against Greg Jones and that vaunted offensive line of Florida State. Miami and Morgantown to take on West Virginia. Ken Dorsey looking for Andre Johnson, and Andre goes 42 yards.
You just get the crossing pattern across the middle of the field, and you see the speed of Andre Johnson. Easy touchdown, Miami. You think they're going to roll, right, Reese?
Maybe not with Avon Coburn in there. Third in the nation in rushing. The Mountaineers as a team second in the land with their rushing attack. I don't know that anyone really thought that they would be able to run the ball on the Hurricanes, but thus far, they have done some business. Here is Dorsey again. There's Kevin Beard. Through a host of defenders, that would set up a Willis McGahee touchdown, and the Hurricanes had a 17-7 lead, but West Virginia added a field goal before the half. Game going on over on ESPN2. Dorsey has been solid, but not spectacular, and the Mountaineers have shown up to fight.
If you're a Miami Hurricane football fan, we've got some around here. You got to be upset. Your front seven defensively was supposed to be great. Avon Coburn is running right through this defense right now.
You know that Jones had 189 yards on him, and now Coburn approaching the century mark. Virginia Tech and Temple, remember, Temple once went into Blacksburg, a 35-point underdog, pulled off the upset once. Lee Suggs so far with a touchdown. Virginia Tech up 7-0. They just started the second quarter. Now we're down to 8 undefeated teams in college football. You see the test, the ones that we believe will be their test. Miami's involved in one right now, and Ohio State a little bit later on this afternoon against Penn State. You have 7 total teams here. These are the 7, and of course Bowling Green is still sitting there as well, undefeated, and these are the highest ranked undefeated teams. Okay, from what you've seen so far, Trev, and this has been a prove-it game for Notre Dame to prove that they deserve to be mentioned with the nation's elite. What are your impressions?
Well, we're tied up 10-10 at halftime, so we don't get too excited right now. But in my opinion, week in and week out, Notre Dame is the better coached, more prepared football team. Bottom line right now with this team. I mean, the first play of the game to me was a simplification of exactly what this team is all about. You run the play-action pass, and it's an easy touchdown. You look at Miami right now, defensively, has to be some real concerns with your front seven. West Virginia's a nice team, but they're an unbalanced team, meaning they run the ball 70% of the time. You know it's the one thing you have to do defensively is shut down Avon Coburn. They're not able to do that right now. I think that Miami has some real troubles defensively, especially with their front seven. If West Virginia can do this, I'm telling you, Virginia Tech's got to be saying to themselves, we got 2 backs as good or better than Coburn.
It is a little bit of a stunning development because Miami's defensive line has been so good. Both defensive lines, they call both of those 4 groups of 4 starters, and, you know, they have been run on the last couple of weeks. So we'll see how this unfolds. And Rasheed Marshall has been erratic, at least throwing the football to this point for West Virginia, but he's done a nice job so far this afternoon. Well, the Fighting Irish, of course, they have a second half of football to go in Tallahassee, but when they go back to business next week, you know, Notre Dame always seems to follow Florida State with Boston College. BC and Pitt happened back in '93, probably cost the Irish a national championship. Here's Derek Knight, 24 yards, set up a field goal. The Eagles with a 3-0 lead. Game tied at 3. Rod Rutherford starting to come into his own.
He really is. This is what he can do for you. He started to throw the ball so well, but you get him on the corner, and then he keeps it, and it's a big gain up the sideline.
We've seen some freshman receivers across the country having an impact. Think of Mike Williams out at USC, and certainly Larry Fitzgerald of Pittsburgh.
You can't defend that, Reese. You throw it up. He's taller. He's more athletic. It's an easy touchdown. Great throw.
A 13-6 lead for the Panthers at the half. Pittsburgh with a 5-2 mark. They're still unbeaten in Big East play right now, but certainly they have yet to face the Hurricanes. When we continue on the Nivea for Men halftime report, we're at the halftime of the Big Ten game. Travis said he thinks Iowa's the best team in the Big Ten. Could something have changed his mind and have him leading Buckeyes? We'll see.
Now there's a better way to soothe your skin after shaving. Nivea for Men Aftershave Balm has advanced moisturizers and vitamins to soothe and improve your skin. Nivea for Men, or Evolve Skincare.
What's she doing with that guy?
I'll ask.
No.
What's with the old geezer?
Teddy says if I marry him, I can get all my calls for $1.
You don't have to make a commitment to get a great rate on calls.
I don't?
Just dial 10-10-220. All calls up to 20 minutes are 99 cents.
And 7 cents a minute after 20.
10-10-220 is cheap.
With no commitment.
Thanks, boy.
How'd she kiss you?
Chicks dig me. Dial 10-10-220. Then 1 and the number.
11-8-25.
EA Games. Friday. Worth billions of dollars. Billions
millions of dollars. You hear this guy? Eddie Murphy. He's still a bad guy, right? Owen Wilson. Well, everybody keeps flip-flopping around. I can't keep it straight.
I Spy. Rated PG-13. Opens everywhere Friday.
Back on the Nivea for Men halftime report. It's been an entertaining first half from the Big House. Michigan band takes the field, and homecoming brings a tear to the alums' eyes. So does the score at the moment. The Hawkeyes on top of the Wolverines, 10-6 at the break. No doubt that Purdue is the most snake-bitten team in all the land, but they are taking care of Northwestern right now, 21-7 at the half. Brandon Pierce, 4 out of 6.
Doing what they really want to do, 216 yards rushing. That's what you do when you play Northwestern. You run the football.
Perhaps with a break here and there, Joe Tiller's team could be in the thick of the Big Ten race, but as it is, they are not. Iowa's on top. We have 3 unbeaten teams in the Big Ten at the moment. Obviously, Iowa and Michigan playing right now, and Ohio State and Penn State show down at the Horseshoe a little bit later on this afternoon. You've steadfastly said that Iowa's the best team in the Big Ten. Is that how you still feel?
Yes. After watching the first half, I think it's pretty clear that Iowa still is the best team in the Big Ten Conference, and I think for the following reasons. For the most part, special teams, maybe a little problem there at the end against Michigan, but the special teams have been fantastic. We've seen kicker after kicker miss kicks. Nate Kading, 16 of 16 in terms of field goals. I think offensively the most balanced team in the Big Ten Conference. Brad Banks, Freddie Russell. I mean, the tight end, Dallas Clark. You kidding me? We love Dallas Clark. He always catches pass. But defensively, that's the difference. Playing with so much confidence right now, flying to the football. You're at Michigan. I don't care what, in a half to hold them to 6 points. Very good Iowa defense. They're the best team in the Big Ten. And I'm telling you right now, this is a bad quarter or so away from being an undefeated football team.
You know what? You start looking at the postseason awards, Kading's got to be the front runner for the Rosa.
Yep.
And I think that Dallas Clark has to be in contention for the Mackey. He's one of the better tight ends in America.
Doesn't drop the ball.
Never.
Never.
He's got the Velcro hands. Benny Joffrey's pretty good for Michigan, too. Wake Forest in North Carolina, meeting for the 99th time down in the ACC. Wake flag flying high despite a disappointment against Clemson, one that they feel they let get away. Senior quarterback James McPherson. Did somebody say tight end? Got Ray Thomas in there from 17 yards out. The Demon Deeks on top 7-0. Here's McPherson this time to Jason Anderson.
Little play action pass. You get your quarterback on the outside, and you see it there. Nice throw on the run. Make a guy miss. Get into the end zone for a touchdown.
So Wake Forest rolling. Of course, North Carolina without Darian Durant. He's injured, not playing in this game. 17-0 the Deeks on top at the break. And Maryland hammering Duke.
How about Maryland? You lose those first 2 games. And how about the Big Fridge? Keeping that football. Maryland's playing very good football right now.
One of the stealth teams, and Bruce Perry back into the lineup for Fridge's team. He has 1 carry for 19 yards so far. We will continue on the Nivea for Men halftime report. A rare special teams error, and that's how Michigan will make you pay in the Big House.
Yeah. I'm on a 10 o'clock flight.
Business trip, huh? Remember, you can achieve success anywhere. For example, I've caught touchdown passes in all these cities.
Jerry, but I've thrown touchdown passes in all of these cities.
I was here first, Steve.
So?
You backup quarterback?
Butterfingers.
You pretty boy.
Slow poke.
Wherever business takes you, Courtyard has what you need to be successful.
Sports analyst.
Step away from the vehicle.
Now make 3 stays and earn 2 free nights. Call 1-888-MARRIOTT. Courtyard, your Marriott awaits.
Oh.
Suzuki, proud presenting sponsor of the Heisman Trophy. If the only obstacles you ever encounter are speed bumps, if you've never used mud as toothpaste, get out of the way. Everybody's talking up the Quadrunner Vincent 500 from Suzuki. And now that a brand new Vincent with a manual transmission has arrived, who knows when they'll stop. The Suzuki Vincent. Get out of the way.
We are dreamers.
To ensure justice for everyone.
Improved health care for all Iowans.
That my family receives the same great education I did.
But we are also Iowans. For over 150 years, we've been making Iowa a better place, one dream at a time.
Michelin would like to remind you, there's only one safety feature on the road that actually touches the road. Michelin, because so much is riding on your tires.
Hi, this is Bert Brooks Tire, inviting you to Bert Brooks Tire for the best service and prices in Rome, Georgia.
Bay of blank. Capitalist blank. Three little blank. Male chauvinist blank. Where have all the pigs gone? Into the new loaded omelet biscuit at Hardee's. It's a lot of bacon, a lot of ham, and a lot of sausage.
This 4th and goal. You go with what's proven. Same goes for investing. At Oppenheimer Funds, we stick to the fundamentals by focusing on solid companies with reliable earnings. A strategy that has proven itself time and time again. Oppenheimer Funds, the right way to invest.
It's the 50th meeting all time between Iowa, number 14 in the country, and number 8 Michigan. 10-6 at halftime on homecoming weekend. I'm Mark Jones, along with Bob Davey, Holly Rowe down in the field. Now, Bob, first half of action, little ebb and flow. Coming into the game, one of the questions that begged was, is what you see what you get with Michigan, or is there another plateau for them to hit today?
Mark, I think Michigan definitely has another gear. Michigan has not played their best football yet this season. Michigan is capable of stepping up, but they need their big-time players, Braylon Edwards, to step up and make a big-time catch or a big-time play.
As for the Iowa Hawkeyes, they came out red hot, marched down the field on their first 2 drives and scored, and that shows up in the total yardage, 219 to 100. But Bob, one of the numbers that doesn't show up there is the mishandled punt, which led to a Michigan touchdown.
Mark, that, and also 1st and goal on the 1/2 yard line early in the football game where they had to settle for a field goal, and Maurice Brown had a chance to make a deep home run catch that we've seen him make on past weeks. So Michigan, even though they have not played well, I think is in a very advantageous situation right now because Iowa is making more mistakes than I've seen them make in the other games we've had.
And Iowa has struggled trying to hold on to leads throughout the course of the season, although they are 7-1 coming in and 4-0 in conference play. Michigan undefeated also in Big Ten action at 3-0. A win for Iowa today would be huge because they have a very favorable schedule coming up. Although a loss certainly would not put them out of the picture. LeSueur brought down at the 21-yard line. Let's take a look at our Gateway game track. C.J. Jones scored the game's first touchdown on a little jailbreak screen. Jones took it 39 yards the distance. A pass coming from Banks, his cousin and roommate, and then the mishandled punt set up an easy touchdown run for Chris Perry. Although they missed the extra point. And that's where we stand right now, 10-6 as we start the 3rd quarter play. LeVar incomplete at the 32, intended for Braylon Edwards. Let's go to Holly.
I talked to Lloyd Carr at the half, and he said they've got to do a better job with their receivers across the middle. He said Iowa is jamming them. They've got to get some receivers open on routes. He said he's proud of how physical his defense is playing. They settled down after those first 2 drives, and he thought they were tremendous. Also, the players, when they came out of the tunnel, were jumping around, and they started singing a little song. It said, "We're ready for y'all." So we'll see if Michigan really is ready for Iowa here in the second half.
All right, Holly. Yeah, before the game, Michigan players had a lot of juice, Bob. We heard some of it. And it really wasn't for family viewing, if you know what I mean. A little exuberant. Bellamy drops the pass a little bit low at the 32. It'll be 3rd down and 10. Bob, in stark contrast, the Iowa team had a different kind of feel down there before the game, didn't they?
Very businesslike, Mark. Almost like we expect to be here. We know it doesn't matter what we say now. It's not going to matter what we say in pregame. It was all about playing the game. But you notice that John Navarre struggling a little bit early here in the second half, aiming the football a little bit. He's missed his last 5 throws.
3rd down and 10 for the Wolverines. Bellamy in motion. Navarre has all day, and
and hit his tight end, Benny Jopru, out of Minnesota with the first down at the 35. Scott Boland made the stop.
Michigan loves the crossing route. You're going to see him run the crossing route. You're going to see the safety, Scott Boland, jump up and try to rob it, but they throw the football in behind him right here. Iowa overplaying the crossing route with the safety. They come back to the second receiver on the crossing route, and he's open in behind the safety.
Jopru, one of the co-captains on the team. Perry stopped behind the line of scrimmage by Howard Hodges off the edge. Number 48, the 6'2 junior, making the stop on the play.
Bo Schembechler is beside himself now, Mark. Michigan with 12 rushing yards in the first half. And you see the undersized defensive ends from Iowa giving them problems. And also to make things worse, Chris Perry is not 100%. That's obvious.
There's one of those undersized defensive ends, Jonathan Babineau, a real diamond in the rough, as described by Norm Parker, the defensive coordinator. Howard Hodges coming out of the ball game. Matt Roth coming in for him. Second down and 11. 4 receivers make that 5. An empty formation for the Wolverines. Navarre going to take off with it. Has all kinds of real estate. John Navarre at the 24-yard line and a flag down at the 23. The
ball was carried by the quarterback, John Navarre.
A 41-yard romp by the quarterback out of Wisconsin.
The penalty marker is down.
You won't see him take off that often, but more and more frequently, and it's a hold against Michigan. More and more frequently, Navarre is starting to show his mobility out of the pocket.
Mark, excellent point yesterday in our meetings. Michigan adjusts their routes on the run based on the coverage. John Navarre, until a week ago, really considered a loss if he had to take off and run with it or if he had to check down to the back. They've convinced him to take off with the football. You don't have to throw it to the wide receivers all the time if they're not open. And he's not a 4-7 guy. He may not be a 4-9-5 guy.
Or even a 5-7 guy.
But he made a play. You're going to see the hold right here. Tyrese Butler at the top of your screen taking Antoine Allen out of bounds.
Chris Perry back into the ball game. The backside of the offset eye. Play fake. Navarre into the end zone for Bellamy. Incomplete. Let's go to Reese.
All right, Mark, we've got a little upset brewing in Morgantown. Early in the second half, Miami up 17-10 on West Virginia, and Willis McGahee, for the second time today, puts it on the turf. For the second time, Kevin Freeman recovers it, and then Rasheed Marshall, the sophomore quarterback. Somebody lost contain, and the Mountaineers are tied with the #1 team in the land at 17.
All right, Reese, from Carroll City to the Grove to Coral Gables, Florida. You can feel the anxiety for Miami. If you're Hurricane fans, second down and 10 after that incompletion. Navarre completes the pass to Edwards. Brought down to the 35 by Grant Steen, and you heard a smattering of boos and the fury you see of Coach Carr.
You can see why Lloyd is obviously upset right there. You can see why the crowd's booing. Right here, Darren Pagel will impede Ronald Bellamy from running the inside post pattern. And it looked to me like that would have been a catchable ball, so I think Lloyd Carr had an excellent point right there.
Made his point known to the official on the sidelines. First down and 10 after the Edwards grab. Here's Perry cutting it back. Chris Perry brought down at the 23 by Antoine Allen. Perry is notorious for getting into the locker room at halftime and reading his teammates the riot act. Last week, in their victory against Purdue, he punched out a couple of lockers who did not punch back on him.
Iowa's run defense really is remarkable. They're #1, I believe, in the Big Ten. Maybe #1 in the #2 in the country in rush defense, and they don't play a lot of 8-man or 9-man front. They do it with 7 guys up in the box, and that's unheard of today. in modern college football.
Second down and long, out of the backfield, incomplete, intended for Perry. It'll be 3rd down and 9 for John Navarre, who this year has done a lot to help himself in terms of his conditioning. We saw him yesterday, had a great visit with the young man, and he's dropped a lot of weight from a season ago where he might have weighed maybe 15, 20 pounds more.
Mark, and that impressed me, and I'm sure you were like I was. How impressed I was. He's a grown man. And sometimes we don't talk enough about the development of these young guys in college football. He is a great story. And if Michigan fans knew him personally, like we had a chance to meet him yesterday, you'd never boo a kid like this.
Oh, no doubt. 3rd and 9. Under the heat and a flag down. This will be a hold against Michigan. And another flag down on the far side of the field. Dave Pearson dragged down one of the defenders on the play.
Marker down. Hagel, the defender.
It's going to be pretty obvious right here that it's no question of holding. Right here, Dave Pearson, the center, tackles Matt Roth, who leads Iowa with 5 sacks. Interesting decision right here for Iowa. And this call is based on, should we decline it with Michigan's field goal woes, or should we give them a different down? They're going to decline it and let Lloyd see if they can kick a field goal here.
Well, their place-kicking woes have been well documented and very much chronicled. Between Philip Brabs and Troy Nienberg, they are 5 of 14 on the season.
This may be an opportunity for Finley to come in and take his first field goal kick. And we talked about him earlier. He is Michigan's punter.
Yeah, he's had 2 knee injuries that slowed him down with respect to place kicking. He is on scholarship. Lloyd Carr says he has a lot of ability.
Mark, this is bigger than just the 3 points. This could be the platform to elevate Michigan's game for the rest of the season if Finley can step up and nail this field goal.
Out of the hold of John Navarre. And guess what? He knocks it through from 40 yards. And that cheer is as much a cheer of relief and a release of frustration for their place-kicking problems. Adam Finley knocks it through, and Michigan is within 1 when we come back.
Pushing myself to the limit is what this is all about. And I need an antiperspirant that can keep up. All the clear gels that I've tried, they just don't work for me. That's why I use High Endurance Clear Gel. It protects against wetness better than the leading gel. Guaranteed. Try it. If you don't like it, Old Spice will buy you a stick of something else. A clear gel that strong? I'm there. Old Spice High Endurance Clear Gel.
Nothing is more desirable or more deadly than a woman with a secret. Antonio Banderas, Rebecca Romaine Stamos, Femme Fatale. Rated R. Starts Wednesday, November 6th.
Stamps. At supermarkets. Stamps. By phone. Stamps. Online. Stamps. At ATMs. Along with your local post office, wherever you find this symbol, you'll find stamps. Conveniently located. Brought to you by the United States Postal Service.
Rated E for everyone.
This is what it feels like when I start draining threes.
This is what you'll see when you bring it in my lane.
This is what it feels like to be dunked on.
This is what it feels like to play in the NBA.
NBA 2K3.
Red is the color of passion. My hot magma clipper cover is red. He's in the hot tub with a girl. And they're naked. You do the math.
What does your phone say about you?
10-9 now, a 1-point tenuous lead by the Hawkeyes. Number 39, Adam Finley, the regular punter, knocks through a 40-yard field goal. Yes, strong leg, shouldn't come as any surprise. Had his 51 and a 52-yarder that he kicked in high school. Meanwhile, Brabs will kick off. Keep in mind, the Hawkeyes, number 3 in the nation, number 1 in the conference in kickoff return. This is Jones. And Jones is brought down at the 25-yard line. What about some of the adjustments, Bob?
Mark, for the first time this year, Michigan, Iowa has struggled running the football. Fred Russell, 6 negative plays. And you see Carl Diggs, the linebacker, up in shooting the gap. Michigan playing their linebackers close to the line of scrimmage, running them through. That's good. But the reason Iowa's had success with play-action pass is because those linebackers are up so tight to the line of scrimmage. And here you see Dallas Clark with a huge void because there's no linebacker underneath. Iowa has to try to get the running game going, but I think it's going to come down to play-action pass.
There's Fred Russell. A flag down. Russell down at the 27-yard line. Fred Russell out of nearby Romulus High School. 25 miles from here. Bit of a homecoming game for number 2. And this is against Iowa.
Not a great way to start the second half. You're going to see C.J. Jones right here holding Cato June and holding the first play of the second half on Iowa. Momentum. Adam Finley making the field goal may be contagious right now to this Michigan football team.
Cato June recently playing football with a heavy heart. His home back in Washington, D.C., which a national drama recently playing out. The sniper being caught and his family now a little bit safer. First down and 20. There's Russell. A little hesitation. Reese Davis, things popping in the Big 12 too, huh?
With the nation's leading rusher, Mark, Chris Brown, Colorado against Texas Tech. Barnett talked about how important it is to establish the run, keep Kingsbury off the field. That's a good way to do it. Round into the end zone, the Buffs up 10-3.
Back here, 10-9. Second and 16. Cervantes in it, fullback. He's the lone back. That usually means pass.
Iowa likes quarterback draw. They like jailbreak screen in these situations on long yardage plays.
Jones in motion. Banks will take off himself. Out to the 27-yard line. Romashek chasing him down. It would be about 5 yards shy of the first down. Third down coming up for the Hawkeyes. Romashek looking for a breather.
Give Michigan's defense credit. Aided here in the second half by the holding penalty, that they have forced more third and longs out of Iowa's offense than any team we've seen this year. And a pattern develops. Iowa last week starting extremely fast against Indiana, up 17-0, and then kind of cruising through the middle part of that football game.
They admitted they were outplayed in the second half. Third down and 6 for Brad Banks and the Hawkeyes. Has all day to throw. And Banks brought down at the 30-yard line. Kept the ball. No doubt that the momentum has swung in favor of the Michigan Wolverines.
You never know when momentum's going to come your way or who's going to provide the momentum. Who would have thought Adam Finley would give Michigan momentum here in the second half?
Bradley with a low line drive spiral. Comes down at the 25 to Curry. He fumbles it. And Boylan recovers it for the Hawkeyes. Bob Sanders made the hit on the play, and Scott Boylan recovered it. And now Iowa gets great field position off a Michigan turnover.
Bob Sanders staying alive, but Marcus Curry looks like he just fumbled that opportunity to catch the punt. We're going to see it closer right here. If we get a chance, maybe we can run that back and look if that was a potential halo situation right there. That was awfully close.
That sure was. That was only the 7th lost fumble by Michigan this season.
Wow. I guess you'd have to take out a tape measure right there to see if that's 2 yards. But once again, Marcus Curry unmolested drops that football.
Makes the point mute, really, whether it was a halo. First down and 10 for the Hawkeyes. They're going to place the ball at about the 16-yard line.
Wow. We were just talking about momentum. Michigan's defense right now, sudden change defense. Step up and make a stop right here.
First down and 10. That's going up out of the eye. Cervantes and Russell is the defense. They run the jailbreak screen to Jones. Jones still on his feet, down inside the 3 to the 2-yard line. Brad Banks knows where his bread is buttered, is with his cousin.
And you're going to see Bruce Nelson right here pulling out here on the jailbreak play. They go with the jailbreak, they pull the lineman. Once again, Michigan playing tight to stop the run. And C.J. Jones, you see the wall of offensive linemen in front of him. Great call right there by Kenny O'Keefe. I don't think they'll run the bootleg here on first down like they did before, Mark. I think they're going to run this football in the end zone.
Okay, there's Brown in motion. Give it to Russell. Russell dragged down behind the line of scrimmage by Charles Drake. And Michigan is calling for a fumble. Freddie Russell getting a rude welcome home here. I talked earlier about the affection that the fans have for him here, or disaffection.
We get a look on the stretch play. Freddie Russell fighting for extra yardage. Wow. I'd like to take a look at that again. We have a great angle of it right here. Is his knee down?
Why do these have to be so close?
Iowa better get up there and snap it so there's no instant replay right here.
Well, instant replay is on the minds of a lot of the coaches.
That was a close call. I hate to cop out, but that was a difficult call right there.
Dallas Clark in motion. Second and goal. The slant. Touchdown, Jones. No doubt about that one. He beat LeSueur on the pattern. Brad Banks has his second touchdown pass of the day. His 17th of the season. So Iowa is able to convert on the fumble by Curry on the punt. And they take it in the end zone. That extra point that was missed by Michigan could loom large before this game is over. With under 9 minutes to go here in the third quarter. Kading with the extra point, which is good. Number 8, C.J. Joneson for a win here today against Michigan to snap that 7-game losing streak against the Wolverines.
Having quadruplets, we have a very busy schedule, so we shop for everything at Walmart. We get our tires here, too. I can leave the car there for an oil change, new tires, and go shopping. When you're picking out a tire, you need a name brand that you trust, and Walmart carries those, and I know I can trust their prices. We can get our car serviced, get all their toys, and still be home in time for lunch and nap. We have a little sticker in the back of our car that says quadruplets on board. I don't trust my children with just anybody because it's precious cargo.
When you choose a different definition of wealth, when you ignore trends but embrace change, when you can be counted on, when you take things in stride, when you know what really matters, when you're good at saving and giving, when you do more than you have to and get more than you ever expected, you win.
Hello, Imagistics. Our copy machine isn't working.
What's going on?
Imagistics service call.
Machines are down. Imagistics down? No way.
For over 25 years, corporate America has relied on us, Imagistics, providing dependable office document equipment and unparalleled service.
Well, there's the magic combination. C.J. Jones, number 8, and his cousin and roommate, Brad Banks, the quarterback, they have brought catfish and grits to Iowa City. And it is a winning recipe right now, translated onto the field. That's the pregame meal, Bob. That's what they told me. I'm just going with it.
I tell you, man, you surprise me every week.
I'm just going with it. I'm just going with it.
And where do you get catfish and grits in Iowa City?
It's a long drive to Ames or somewhere. I don't know.
Oh, they go to that port city. I mean, they go to that. No, I guess you don't need a port to get catfish.
Michigan's LeSueur dancing around and drilled back at the 17. All season long, special teams have had a say in the results and the outcome. They blocked 4 kicks, 2 punts, one of them right there, 1 field goal, and an extra point. That's the extra point that came back for 2 points against Penn State. And this was another one of the punts that they blocked. All 4 blocked kicks have resulted in Iowa scores. This was against Purdue just a couple of weeks ago. As they took it back for a score, Antoine Allen doing the honors. And just a few moments ago, on the punt, they recovered the fumble. A couple plays later into the end zone, and 17-9. Askew on the carry. Let's go back and find out what's happening with the Hurricanes. Reese?
All right, Mark. Ken Dorsey trying to get that offense going. Good way to do that is get the ball in the hands of Willis McGahee, and he does. McGahee out of the backfield making some yards after the catch. McGahee getting deep down into Mountaineer territory, and from there he would take care of business, breaking a tackle and going in. But West Virginia is back down inside the Canes 10 now.
Rich Rodriguez got it going a little bit this year. 2nd down and 11 for Michigan. Edwards in motion. Navarre eludes trouble. And number 25, Derek Pagel, made the hit on Edwards just as the ball arrived. That'll be 3rd down and long for the Wolverine offense. And Michigan really, Bob, hasn't gotten into any kind of rhythm offensively today.
You're right, Mark, and this becomes a test of character right now if you're Michigan. Once again, though, they're in 3rd and very long situation. But you're going to find out what kind of heart Michigan really has, because it's going against them a little bit. And all of a sudden, a minute ago, it looked like it was going for them as far as momentum.
3rd and 11. Navarre looking for Edwards. Incomplete. For a moment, it looked like he made the circus grab, but Considine and DJ Johnson were there on the coverage, and a flag down on the play back at the 29-yard line.
There's a penalty marker down.
Norm Parker's secondary, although statistically they're not that impressive, they've done well when they've had to this year. And this is going to go against Iowa. Let's look at Parker, the defensive coordinator for the Hawkeyes.
One thing Iowa has done a great job is disrupting Michigan's receivers, particularly on the crossing routes. And this time they may have been a little bit too aggressive. But give Iowa's secondary and Norm Parker credit, Mark. We saw them earlier in the year against Penn State and then Purdue. We were really concerned about the aggressiveness of their secondary. They have really tightened their coverages up here the last couple of weeks.
Parker pressing all the right buttons of late in his 4th season at Iowa. 1st down and 10 for the Wolverines. Navarre on the play fake. Sacked back at the 16-yard line by Colin Cole. And let's find out if there's any luck with the Irish today, Reese.
Plenty of skill, Mark. They took a 13-10 lead after intercepting a Chris Ricks pass. Now Ricks will turn it over to the Irish again. Guess who comes up with it? Of course, Montez Duff. It's always either Duff or Walton. That led to a Ryan Grant touchdown. Notre Dame has scored off of 16 of the 22 turnovers they've gained this year. They're up by 10 on the Knoll.
Get the feeling it's just one of those years for Notre Dame. 2nd down and 16. B.J. Askew gaining about 2, brought down by Kloss. B.J. Askew last week doing a great job moving into the tailback spot for Chris Berry, and Askew actually added a lot of weight this year because of the positional change, and he did it, he said, by going to Subway, eating a lot of subs. Most people actually lose weight by eating at a Subway.
Well, I guess it depends how many and what you put on that Subway. But B.J. Askew has bigger things to concern himself with right now. It's 3rd down and 15 right here. And Iowa in their nickel defense playing man under coverage.
Barr. Incomplete. Once again trying to drop it in between the safety and the DB, but D.J. Johnson was there, and it's 4th down for Michigan.
Michigan kind of grasping a little bit. Obviously, 3rd down and 15. They have to go down the field. Actually, Braylon Edwards could have been called for an early pass interference penalty with pushing up D.J. Johnson.
Finley now with his 5th punt of the afternoon, standing on his own 4-yard line. Low line drive punt. And the Iowa Hawkeyes going to start off with very good field position at the 44-yard line. Well, tonight on ESPN2, Wisconsin against Michigan State. Wisconsin 0-3 in the Big Ten, and Michigan State reeling without Jeff Smoker now suspended for the game. Charles Rogers, though, on display, and then later on ESPN 7:45 Eastern, number 15 Tennessee against Alabama. SEC action on ESPN at 7:45 Eastern time. Alabama looking to end a 7-game losing streak to Tennessee. And check out Kelly Washington, one of the top receivers in the country. 6:20 to go in the 3rd quarter. Iowa leading by 8. Banks completes it to C.J. Jones at the 46-yard line. We're here in Ann Arbor, Michigan, the Big House. I'm Mark Jones, along with Bob Davie and Holly Rowe down to the field. Number 14, Iowa, leading number 8, Michigan. This is the largest crowd ever to see Iowa play a football game, and some of the over 111 in attendance wearing gold and black and making themselves heard down there in the south end zone.
Well, they've got a lot to be excited about right here, Mark.
A Rose Bowl berth and bid potentially on the line for the Hawkeyes today. Banks. He's just going to tuck it under. And Banks gains about 5 on the play. Banks keeping that ball high and holding the DBs.
What makes Brad Banks so successful? Iowa with maximum protection puts him on the corner, but look how patient he is. He's not going to make a decision until he has to make a decision whether run or throw. He's not a quarterback that just takes off and runs with it. He's a quarterback that always looks for the throw off of the run.
Brad Banks, 4th in the nation in passing efficiency. 3rd and 3, Jamel Lewis, the lone back. Here's a little option from Iowa. Lewis gets the 1st down and then some. Back to the 41-yard line. For the first time today, the Hawkeyes throwing a new wrinkle, that being the option to Lewis.
Mark, it really isn't a new wrinkle. It's their standard zone blocking. Normally they hand the ball to the tailback, but this time they bring the quarterback down the line and they run the zone option and pitch off the outside linebacker, Victor Hobson. So it's their regular zone blocking, but they add the element of option football in there. They did it last week against Indiana. They do it here on 3rd down.
Kenny O'Keefe pressing the right buttons as the offensive coordinator. 1st down and 10. Banks now checking. And he calls a timeout.
That old term, field general, Brad Banks is that.
Showing a lots of moxie and leadership in the pocket. We'll be right back after this.
Tuesday, John Ritter, Jim Belushi, 2 devoted dads.
I don't believe you, Bridget. You really think that you can get through life on looks alone?
They have one dilemma.
Honey, use your fork. You see, now you're a lady.
They both have to deal with daughters.
I just wanted to give Bridget a kiss goodbye. I know.
The comedy hits 8 Simple Rules and According to Jim. Tuesday, starting at 8/7 Central on ABC.
Nature created it, Fazio perfected it. The Frog at the Georgian Resort. Named the best new challenge by Golf Magazine. The Frog at the Georgian Resort is one of the purest golfing experiences you'll ever encounter. Winner of the prestigious Apex Award. The Frog sets an unforgettable stage for outings and special events, raising service to unprecedented levels. The Frog. Golf the way it was meant to be at the Georgian Resort.
ESPN's presentation of college football, brought to you by brand name tires, oil changes, and more at your neighborhood Walmart Tire and Lube Express.
Just part of the homecoming festivities here in Ann Arbor, Michigan. Our 50th meeting between Iowa and Michigan. And the alumni here with their chests collectively swelling with pride. Number 8 Michigan Wolverines having a successful run so far this year, but looking for a pivotal win today against Iowa. First down and 10. Michigan blitzing, flags down, intended for Jones, but he threw it over the outside shoulder, incomplete. Hey, Reese Davis, my paper boy, says Miami needs to get more love on ESPN.
Well, they're getting a little something from Avon Coburn, but it ain't love right now, Mark. Avon with 140 yards on the day was dinged up on this play. West Virginia cashed it in, missed the extra point. It's 24-23, but now the Canes are back down inside the 10.
Hey, Reese, every time the Hurricanes play a close game up in Miami Lakes, where I live, Bob, I gotta looking for my paper. I can't find it. My paper boy gets mad when they don't play well. I gotta look under my car in the driveway for the paper. I gotta look in the bushes.
You know what?
I won't be able to find it tomorrow.
Your paper boy is like a lot of college fans.
Yeah.
He's spoiled. I mean, if he starts hiding that paper when they only win by so many. I mean, when's the last time Miami's lost? What's he gonna do if they lose?
Spoiled, you're right. I won't get it for a week. Second down and 10. Fred Russell not in the ball game right now. Jamel Lewis is. This is Lewis. Bouncing it outside to the right side. Brought down to the 40 by Diggs and Holly Rowe. What's up with Fred Russell?
Fred Russell has an injured right hand. They'd taken his glove off and tried to retape his hand and get it back in the game, but he was experiencing some pain. They've taken him back into the locker room for a closer examination. No word yet on whether he'll return. It is likely, though, because they said that it's not an injury that would prevent him from returning. They just want to make sure that they don't aggravate it.
Fred Russell playing in front of a lot of friends and family here from nearby Romulus, Michigan. Just down the road. And Jamel Lewis running on the last play, taking Russell's spot. They are 6 of 12 on third down today. 3rd and 10 right here. Trying to keep the drive alive, leading by 8. Dallas Clark, the sure-handed, reliable receiver, got the first down, got a very favorable spot at the 29-yard line. Let's go back to Reese.
Martin, somebody mentioned something about Notre Dame taking advantage of other teams' turnovers. After the Fighting Irish scored a touchdown on the ensuing kickoff, Leon Washington puts it on the ground, and the Fighting Irish recover. And yet again, they cash in. Carlisle, Holiday, Omar Jenkins, and the shed is open for business. It's 27-10.
Speaking of magical runs this year, Notre Dame, one of the more opportunistic teams I've seen this year. Clark got the first down for the Hawkeyes. They give it to Lewis. They run the same play. Lewis on the zone play. Cuts it back. Jamel Lewis makes it 1st and 10. A 24-yard pickup for the Hawkeyes.
That third down conversion may have broke Michigan's back, but here you see Iowa, their patented zone blocking, the cutback materializes, and Jamel Lewis takes it north and south.
Bob, you have to be patient. Admire the patience they've approached their running game with this week.
No question, and the thing you go back to, Michigan had stopped Iowa 3 and out, 3 and out, prior to Michigan dropping the punt, when Marcus Curry dropped the punt. That third down conversion to Dallas Clark seemed to have taken some of the steam out of this Michigan defense.
With Fred Russell out of the ball game and Aaron Grebbing leaving the team earlier this week, that leaves them with just one tailback in service right now. First down and goal for Brad Banks in the offense. They give it to Jermel Lewis. Touchdown Hawkeyes. He got it done. That's his 6th rushing touchdown this year.
Iowa doesn't have a lot of running plays. They run the zone play to the weak side. Cato June comes up, misses the tackle. Jermel Lewis, really the 3rd tailback, takes advantage of his opportunities.
The Iowa Hawkeyes looking to snap a 7-game losing streak against Michigan. They haven't won here in over a decade, 1990 to be exact. And it was on a homecoming weekend. Nate Kading knocks through the extra point and was roughed up in the process. It's 24-9. Jermel Lewis getting a little bit of dap from his teammates on the sideline. Bob, talk about the zone blocking scheme once again.
There's a couple different ways they block it, Mark, but on the inside zone, they try to create double teams at the line of scrimmage. Here you see the center and guard, tackling tight end, working in combination. Even though they're doubling, though, all 4 of their eyes are on the linebacker. So it appears the line blockers unblocked initially, but one of the linemen comes off. And here you see zone blocking again. They get the ball deep to the tailback in the backfield, and they are as good as anyone in the country, Mark, at doing that. Michigan had done an excellent job early in the game of getting their linebackers up in there. Iowa is starting to take over the battle of wills right now, though, a little bit.
An 8th play, 56-yard drive, eclipsing 3:22 on the clock. Now one of the questions that beg is John Navarre the leader that Lloyd Carr inspired him to be, motivated him to be at the beginning of the season when they sat down in his office and talked about the role that his quarterback would play for the upcoming year? His team trails right now 24-9. Both teams are undefeated in the Big Ten. LeSueur at the 5. LeSueur brought down to the 19, and Reese, tell us about the Canes in West Virginia.
Well, Ken Dorsey trying to lift his team on the road and let them escape. Another scare is 24-23. Dorsey to Andre Johnson for the touchdown, but Miami returned the earlier West Virginia favor by missing the extra point. So no harm, no foul, still a 7-point game.
Well, looks like I'll be getting my paper at the front door so far, anyway.
Hey, what's up with Miami's defense then? You know, Florida State had a lot of yards on them as well.
In the run. Gashed him in the run. There's Fred Russell back on the field, a good sign for Hawkeye boosters. First down and 10 for Michigan. Edwards in motion. To Perry, complete. Who falls at the 24. Let's take a look at the Miller High Life storyline of the game. Some of the cogent points so far. Brad Banks with 247 total yards offense and 2 touchdown passes. Both of them coming to his cousin C.J. Jones. 2:19 to go in the 3rd quarter on a gray, overcast, breezy, chilly day as the autumnal hues settle in here on Ann Arbor. Askew brought down at the 23 by Kevin Worthy. Bob Sanders also in on the play along with Johnson.
You have to like Iowa's defense so far in this football game, Mark. They don't do a lot. Compared to Michigan's defense, they do very little, but they play it well, and you see them getting better each week we have them. They're not real flashy on defense, but they're good tacklers. They get good rush out of the 4th down man.
3rd down and 6.
Once again, in their dime package, a lot of man-to-man coverage out of this.
Navarre under heat, and he's sacked back at the 18 by Howard Hodges. The 2nd sack of the afternoon for the Hawkeye defense, who last week came up with 6.
Iowa's defensive ends are not very big, but here you see Howard Hodges, a little inside and then outside move on Courtney Morgan, and he comes around the horn and sacks John Navarre, anytime you can rush with only 4, Mark, and get that kind of pressure, you deploy 7 in coverage, you're normally going to be successful.
Hinkle calls for the fair catch right at the midfield stripe. And don't forget, ESPN has Sunday Night NFL action for you tomorrow night at 8 Eastern. Peyton Manning and Indianapolis. The offense looked to get an early lead, something they could not do against Pittsburgh last week. The Colts travel to the nation's capital, where Shane Matthews returns as the Redskins starting quarterback, for now anyway. It all starts with NFL Primetime, presented by Miller Lite at 7:30. At the 50-yard line. Rather ominous skies above for the Michigan Wolverines. In front of well over 111,000 people. The home team trailing on homecoming weekend. 24-9. I'm Mark Jones along with Bob Davey and Holly Rowe. Both teams trying to stay undefeated in conference play. Jermel Lewis gassing the Wolverine defense and gassing them hard all the way down to the 23.
Carried by Jermel Lewis.
They continue to pound away in the run.
Michigan, Mark, jumps into double eagle defense. Really an 8-man front, Buddy Ryan's old defense, and Iowa runs the zone play and just gashes them right here with Jermel Lewis. You have to wonder what Aaron Grieving, the young tailback that left the program, is thinking right now, because these would have been his opportunities.
Could have been his turn today when Fred Russell nicked up a little bit. As Holly Rowe reported, had a hand injury, had to go to the locker room. First down and 10, backs out of the eye. Lewis brought down to the 23. Tackle made by Considine. Check that, Kaufman making the stop, and Freddie Russell skipping, but will he skip all the way to Pasadena? That's one of the questions that beg as we end the third quarter. Back in a minute.
Watch Monday Night Countdown, 7:30 Eastern on ESPN, delivered by UPS.
Behind them is a snippy maitre d' and a wilted Caesar. In front of them is a family drama playing itself out. But right now, life is perfect. Thanks to a full moon, a powerful engine, and the Autobahn-tested suspension of the Acura RL.
Yo, me, where's the dip?
Only Tostitos Scoops have the bite-sized bowl-shaped design that's perfect for dipping and dunking every time.
I thought that was a myth.
So however you like to dip, there's only one Dip Lovers chip.
I own this court. Yeah. No, I really own this court. You guys got to go.
Tostitos Scoops, the Dip Lovers chip.
Does a pair beat a straight?
Yes.
What?
Gina, 3?
Tina.
Oh, she's been sending me pictures.
On the phone?
Pictures of what? Things she can do. I'm out.
When you can send and take pictures on a wireless phone, that ought to do it. That's M-Life from AT&T Wireless. Your mobile life made better.
Without a Yamaha ATV, you're not going very far. The Grizzly 660 Automatic from Yamaha. The only ATV with push-button front dip lock and four-wheel independent suspension. The Grizzly 660 Automatic. Where you go now is up to you. Now get a Warn winch with select models plus 0% financing on every Yamaha ATV.
Live the movie. The Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers on PlayStation 2. Rated T for Teen.
EA Games.
Back for the beginning of the fourth period of play here in this showdown in the conference play and Big Ten play. Both teams undefeated. Michigan 3-0, Iowa 4-0. And look at what has happened to Iowa leads late in the ball games recently. They led Penn State by 22 in the fourth quarter and saw that lead disappear very quickly. Banks on the edge. His receiver fell down at the 7-yard line. It was intended for Maurice Brown. Let's take a look at our game-way game track. One of the pertinent points in the ball game so far. Banks rolling up some impressive numbers offensively with 2 touchdown passes to boot. And C.J. Jones with 2 touchdown catches. The most recent one coming there. Bob, I talked about Penn State coming back on Iowa. Does Michigan have the same type of talent to do it against Iowa?
I think Michigan has the talent. The 2 things right now, I don't think Michigan's playing real well. I think Iowa's playing such better pass defense right now than they did earlier in the season.
That's a different Hawkeye team. 3rd and 11. A little shovel pass to Lewis. Gets a great block from Jones. Touchdown, Iowa. Well, they don't want to call it a comeback. They're not thinking about comebacks. They're still executing.
Mark, we talked about 3rd and long, Iowa being conservative, not making a bad play or a bad situation worse. They come with a new wrinkle that we haven't seen. The shuffle pass. It's kind of a form of the jailbreak, a very conservative call, but big-time dividends, big-time rewards right there.
You talk about a wrinkle we haven't seen, and we've seen them a lot this year. A very, very propitious and auspicious beginning here in the fourth quarter for the Hawkeyes as they look to nail down and end that insidious losing streak of 7 games against Michigan. Brad Banks dealing the cards out to Jermel Lewis. And the Hawkeyes are looking good.
Behind them is a 19th century cabin with a 19th century roof. Ahead of them is a 21st century modern with a 21st century electrical system. But right now, life is perfect, thanks to a clear sky, a smooth ride, and the electronic 4-wheel drive, 260 horsepower Acura MDX.
Now's your chance.
Give it a whack.
To get the special edition DVD.
It's gonna be fun.
Loaded with special features that'll knock your socks off.
I'm just kidding you, pal.
Adam Sandler is Mr. Deeds. Buy it now on DVD and video.
There's another kind of Bounty. Bounty double quilted.
It does jobs I never thought a paper towel could do. The quicker picker-upper is double quilted.
Each sheet is quilted once, then quilted again, making it the strongest 2-ply paper towel.
It even works underwater.
And there are twice as many sheets on a roll. More sheets that can do more jobs than you ever thought possible.
Quilted, quicker picker-upper.
Bounty double quilted.
Did you know the air in your home can be up to 5 times more polluted than air outside? That indoor pollutants like dander can aggravate allergies and trigger asthma. What can you do? Get the Filtrete Ultra Allergen Reduction Filter. It's up to 30 times better than all other 1-inch filters at capturing airborne dust, bacteria, and pollen. And it meets Health House guidelines. If you don't take care of the air in your home, who will? Filtrete filters from 3M. For action-packed, thrill-seeking fun.
Isn't that awesome?
Don't let anything stand in your way.
Feeling crazy. Unbelievable.
Adam Sandler is Mr. Deeds. Buy it now on DVD and video.
Check it out, too.
Well, Jermel Lewis doing what Fred Russell couldn't do earlier. That is extricating himself from that Michigan defense. Into the end zone, Hayden kicking off. And Iowa with a 31-9 lead at Michigan. Up to the 19. Let's take one more look at that Iowa touchdown.
Iowa keeps adding to their repertoire. Here you see the offensive guard, Sebecki, pulling around. The shuffle pass is coming. They're going to let the lineman get up the field. And actually a little flip pass underneath on the shuffle pass. You're going to see a good block by C.J. Jones downfield. Cato June missing the tackle on Jamel Lewis. And Jamel Lewis right now, Mark, stepping up, taking advantage of those reps. But give Ken O'Keefe, the offensive coordinator, a lot of credit. They got a lot of tricks in that trick bag, Mark.
Rushing yardage piling up for Iowa now. The pass complete to Tyrese Butler at the 24. And let's get an update on Miami, West Virginia from Reese.
But as Ken Dorsey stepping up, you know, we keep looking for someone to emerge in this Heisman Trophy race. And Ken Dorsey, unofficially, is a career high in passing yardage, 378. This time hitting Andre Johnson. The fumble, Miami recovers it. They ended up catching it in for a touchdown. They're up by 14 early in the fourth quarter.
All right, Reese Navarre under heat. And brought down to the 24-yard line by number 48. You know, we've called Howard Hodges' name a lot today. Michigan now going to try and hurry things up a little bit. Down big time with just under 14 minutes to go here in the fourth quarter. Iowa in the midst of a 21-0 run after Michigan had closed to within 10-9.
Mark, Iowa again in man-to-man coverage underneath. But can Michigan beat the man-to-man coverage? Not if they can't protect.
And once again, Howard Hodges comes up with the sack.
Iowa coming with the twist with Howard Hodges. Mark, Iowa with undersized defensive ends, but because of Michigan's inability to run the ball, those undersized defensive ends are an advantage because it's a pass rush game right now for Iowa.
They're just pinning their ears back and coming. High punt by Finley. Hinkle calls for the fair catch. Takes a Michigan roll all the way down to the 37-yard line. The folks down on South Dubuque in Iowa City hanging out at the field house right now, thinking about Pasadena. 31-9 when we come back.
On an all-new Beg, Borrow, and Deal.
I'm a little beat. So it looks beat, I feel a little beat.
While Team Kobe is running on empty in the middle of nowhere.
Wait, what's going on? Something's going wrong.
Do one of y'all have AAA? Team Contact begs from a king.
How you doing, man? I'm Tony Faring.
Hey, what's up, Tony? Will C-Web give them the royal treatment?
They just Beg, Borrow, and Deal right there with me.
Or the cold shoulder.
But they got more nerve than I do. I don't think I could do that.
You ready? Here we go. See you later!
Beg, Borrow, and Deal. The begging continues. Tuesday at 8 on ESPN.
I've got civic pride.
I've got civic pride.
We've got civic pride.
Get civic pride at Heritage Honda in Rome. We're loaded with new Civics, and we're making incredible deals. Right now, get a new Civic LX loaded with extras for just $197 a month. Drive away in a new Civic from Heritage Honda in Rome, and you'll have civic pride too. Heritage Honda in Rome, Georgia, where we're more than a tradition.
Get 0.0% APR financing or $1,000 cash back on the 2003 Tundra.
Well, the crowd started off at about 111,000, but you get the feeling, Bob Davie, that some of those folks headed towards the exits right now on homecoming weekend, trying to get a jump on some of the festivities to come. Look at the situation today. 3 Iowa sacks last week against Indiana. They had 6. So you know what? In the end, people should really stop talking about their pass defense because it's becoming more and more of a non-factor.
Mark, that's a great point. Forget about being 1/16th in pass defense. I mean, this has become a good defensive football team, and that ties the package together because we know they're explosive on offense, great special teams, but Michigan right now with 154 total yards in this
Prior
game.
to the snap. Ball start. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Go first down.
And, of course, that offensive line has really held up for head coach Kirk Ferentz. Gallery, Steinbeck, Nelson, Lightfoot, and Porter. An offensive line that has been together for 3 years, and there's a real premium on teamwork up front.
All NFL prospects as well, Mark. Not a bunch of highly recruited guys. They've done a great job developing those players, and the players have done a great job developing themselves.
First down and 15. Jermel Lewis getting the call once again. Lewis brought down to the 40-yard line. Bruce Nelson, Holly Rowe, a real monument to consistency, isn't he?
That's right. Bruce Nelson has the second longest consecutive starting streak in the nation. He has 44 straight starts. But even more impressive are his parents. They have driven Richard and Anne Marie to every single one of those games, 44 in all. They estimate that they've driven over 50,000 miles. This year, they finally broke down and bought an RV. They call it Eddie out of the Christmas Vacation movies. And they've got a personalized license plate 72 hike in honor of their son, the center. Now, I promised them that I would send a shout out to their brother Jim, who is home minding their farm in Emmitsburg, Iowa. They have over 2,000 acres, 1,000 head of cattle, and they've got to thank Jim for doing the chores where they're going all to these games.
That's right, Holly. Great report. I love the vanity plates, too, on the RV. You know, Nelson told me a couple weeks ago when we had a chance to visit with him, there's a look at his wonderful parents, that when he first came to Iowa, they were down in that 1-10 season. There was a test of character every week, and he said that the coaches kept telling us to hang in, that there would be a big reward at the end of his 4 or 5 years there, and there certainly looks to be one right now in the offing, Bob.
Mark, and give credit to Iowa's administration. Having patience, staying with Kirk Ferentz and the plan, it's a cumulative effect of a lot of things, and now Iowa is over that hump.
Third down and 1, Lewis. Brought down behind the line of scrimmage at the 43. Let's go to Reese in the studio.
All right, Mark, as the day continues to unfold, I think we better stand up and realize that Notre Dame is a national championship contender. Ryan Grant bursting off the left side, and they are opening up an Irish-sized can of whooping on the Seminoles' rear end. It's 34-10.
Yeah, that's an industrial-sized cannon of whooping. Cato June, meanwhile, down in the field for the Wolverines. The senior 6'1", 217-pound free safety, an all-Big Ten candidate at the beginning of the year. And also down in the field is Romashek, number 92, their starting defensive end. The Wolverines already reeling on the scoreboard, trailing 31-9. Now with a couple of key cogs defensively hurt down in the field.
Mark, that's unfortunate, but you notice with Iowa the patience in which they've stayed with that running game, using the big offensive linemen, wearing Michigan down, continuing to run the zone play on them.
We're going to take a short break and be right back after this.
Behind them is a snippy maitre d' and a wilted Caesar. In front of them is a family drama playing itself out. But right now, life is perfect. Thanks to a full moon, a powerful engine, and the Autobahn-tested suspension of the Acura RL.
Be raw, insane, move, step in and out of the groove. Liberation from limitation. Freestyle, acting in the now. Your brain never asking your body why.
Not knowing what your next move is.
No right,
no wrong.
Just doing it.
That's freestyle with control.
Freestyle.
That's freestyle.
Go freestyle. Get live. NBA Live 2003. Rated E for everyone. EA Sports. It's in the game.
Critics are raving. I Spy is undoubtedly one of the funniest films of the year.
Sexual healing. Sexual healing.
I Spy, rated PG-13, opens everywhere Friday.
I'm Max Kellerman. I want to tell you about my new show. The idea is simple. People here think the people here don't know anything about sports. Around the Horn is going to bring sports experts together, and I'm keeping score.
Around the Horn, weekdays at 5 Eastern on ESPN.
Back Back here at Ann Arbor, Michigan, Michigan Stadium. A couple of Wolverine players down on the field, and an eerie sense of silence falling all over the stadium. And look at Cato June's family members down on the field. Beside Lloyd Carr, a scene that is somewhat eerily reminiscent to a couple of weeks ago when Zia Combs went down on the field.
Mark, we're going to see right here Maurice Brown cracking back, which is a legal block. He knocks Cato June down. Cato June goes into Rumashek. Rumashek is also injured right here. You're going to see the crack coming right here. It's a legal block. He's above the waist. His head's in front. He knocks Cato June into Rumashek, who also injures his knee.
And they have brought out the mobile unit to assist Cato June. And we're going to take another time out here and throw it back to the studio with Reese Davis College Football Update.
Mark, thank you very much. Trev Alberts is here, and as Mark mentioned, it is very reminiscent of the situation with Zia Combs, and we hope that there is a conclusion as good as that one was, although his football future's in jeopardy. Didn't suffer any paralysis or any broken bones or anything of that nature, so we'll keep an eye on that. And in the meantime, let's get you up to date on some things going on around college football. Some games that are already underway. Boston College and Pittsburgh, 13-9 game in the Big East. Pitt had the lead until Ryan St. Pierre found Sean Ryan, the 259-pounder in BC. The next opponent for Notre Dame is up by 3 about halfway through the fourth quarter. Miami and West Virginia, this thing was a fight for a while, Trev. The Hurricanes have finally seemed to take control of this game.
Well, I think because Ken Dorsey, after a horrendous first quarter, has started to establish himself. You see the 405 yards passing. He's brought his team back, but once again, Miami's front seven defensively, a real question mark. West Virginia running well.
That is a career high for Ken Dorsey, by the way, in the game going on over on ESPN2. 4 years ago, Temple went into Blacksburg as a 35-point underdog and beat the Hokies, and the Fighting Bobby Wallaces within a touchdown of the Hokies. What's up there?
Not going to happen. Brian Randall still playing well. 10 of 15, 82 yards, run the football. Virginia Tech may be looking forward. They win this game, Reese.
Well, maybe so, but I'll tell you what it could do. It could cause a shakeup in the rankings because of what's happening down in Tallahassee. Notre Dame not just winning the game because this thing's over. In fact, if it were a fight, they would already stopped it. But they are laying the wood to the Seminoles 34-10.
Completely wrong on this game. Greg Jones, 31 yards rushing. Once again, Notre Dame's defense coming in, only allowing 80 yards rushing. Shut down the Florida State run. Chris Ricks had some wide receivers drop balls. Wasn't all his fault. Turnovers. I mean, Florida State did help Notre Dame, but once again, Notre Dame didn't beat itself. They out-hit them. They ran the football. And Carlisle Holiday, 13 of 21. They're starting to throw the football well as well.
And Notre Dame's largely responsible for this, but Florida State looked like a raggedy outfit for most of the afternoon in this game. Auburn and LSU. LSU having all kinds of trouble. Turned the ball over 5 times. Auburn taking advantage with Ronnie Brown on the little draw, busting it to the outside. And Ronnie Brown houses it 31-6. LSU just now got into the game. LSU, 5 turnovers, including 4 interceptions. Trev, I know Marcus Randall's in his first road start, but LSU had only thrown 2 interceptions all season long. They turned it over 4 times through the air today.
Yeah, you're not going to win if you turn the ball over. But on the side, you know, LSU had the great defense coming in. Sooner or later, when you're on the field as a former defensive player, time after time, you start getting worn down, and Auburn offensively is making plays. That's why it's 31-7.
How about a little shout-out to Tommy Tuberville's team?
Absolutely.
After a couple of gut-wrenching losses, they come back and lay it on the number 10 team in the land. Texas Tech and Colorado, that game's underway at Folsom Field. Barnett wants to control the clock. Chris Brown, the nation's leading rusher, is off to a good start with 70 yards. And I think Kingsbury's putting it up 35 times in the first half.
The story is, you know Texas Tech's going to throw the ball. Offensively, they're pretty good, but I think defensively right now, that was the question with Texas Tech. They're playing pretty well against Colorado.
Here's the contrast. Kingsbury threw it 70 times last week against Missouri. Robert Hodge has thrown it 77 times during Colorado's 4-game winning streak. There's a difference in philosophy.
Difference in philosophy.
We're going to take you back out to the Big House now in Ann Arbor. Mark Jones and Bob Davie, Michigan and Iowa.
All right, Reese, a rather sobering scene still playing out on the field with Cato June being taken off the field.
This picture puts it all in perspective. You see Cato's mom, his family out there, his teammates, his coaches. It's a devastating injury, particularly for this young man and his family.
I mentioned some of the worries that he had recently being from the Washington, D.C., Maryland, Virginia area. The concern that he had for his family back there with the sniper attacks that were evolving over the last 2.5 weeks. The sniper finally being captured. Both suspects in custody right now, and a big relief to Cato June. And right now, something more immediate on his mind. That would be getting healthy.
Mark, one blessing is that his family is here and not home just simply watching this game on television. So I know his family is right there, and he's in good hands with the Michigan staff.
4th down and 3. David Bradley into punt. Iowa running the clock down. The clock their biggest ally right now, and a little movement up front. And if that's against the Wolverines, that might give them a 1st down, give Iowa a 1st down.
Mark, it looked to me that the left offensive guard from Iowa pulled Michigan off sides. He was pointing as to who he was going to block, and Michigan jumped. This will be an interesting call right here by the referee.
It's going to be against Michigan.
Prior to the snap, offside, defense, 5-yard penalty, enough yardage.
Bad break for the Wolverines.
Mark, you can see what happens. Iowa man-to-man protection punt team. They're signaling right there who to block. Michigan jumps as Antoine Allen, the left guard, signals. And was there contact on that play would be my question. Did Michigan come across and contact them? If so, then it is a good call, and it is a 1st down for Iowa. But when it goes bad, it continues to go bad, Mark.
Sure does. No way seemingly to turn the momentum around in their favor right now if you're a Michigan fan. Banks, 18 of 28 for 222 yards passing, 3 touchdown tosses as well. Jermel Lewis continuing to make his imprint on this game. Brought down at the 43-yard line, and there is a pall of silence once again here over the crowd here at Michigan. A familiar scene a couple of weeks ago against Penn State. There's a look at Combs on the sidelines. He collided with teammate Ernest Chazor while attempting to down a punt right there. Combs was taken off the field on a stretcher. There's the almost harmless looking hit. He regained feeling in his body and was released from hospital the next day, last Sunday, and he's expected to make a full recovery, although his football future is still up in question. 2nd down and 3, backs out of the eye. Lewis brought down right at the line of scrimmage at the 47-yard line by Sean Lazarus.
Mark, we talked earlier about Michigan coming into this game 6-1, 8th in the country, but not a lot of love out there, not a lot of people talking about Michigan. I think it was really important for Michigan to step up today, take the game, their team to another level, and calling it like it is. They have not done that. Give credit to Iowa, but Michigan has also not played as well as I think they're capable of playing, and I know Lloyd Carr would agree with that as well.
3rd down and 5 for Brad Banks. Put him on the edge, and he makes the throw incomplete through the hands of Brown. And let's go downstairs to Holly Rowe.
Because right now we don't know a lot, but we do know this, that the player will likely be taken to the University of Michigan Hospital. I can tell you that as they wheeled him off the field, he was conscious. He was taking oxygen, though. We could not see if he was moving his arms and legs. He did move his feet when he was out on the field, but I don't know if that was an involuntary or voluntary movement. We'll keep you up to date as soon as we know more.
All right, Holly, good report with all the facts. June, an All-Big Ten candidate. That's who Holly was referring to, a Thorpe Award candidate as well, and a pro prospect. Bradley going to try and drop this one inside the 10. Fair catch called at the 12-yard line. Don't forget, coming up after the game, it's the College Game Day scoreboard presented by Acura with Reese Davis. Big game going down in Tallahassee between the Fighting Irish and Florida State, Miami, West Virginia, and the Game Day game. With a report from their venue, 1st down and 10 for the Wolverines. 9:25 to go in the 4th quarter. Michigan trying to stay unbeaten in conference play, but under fire and under siege right now. Navarre 13 of 30 today 115 total yards passing. They set up the screen to Askew. And it stopped immediately at the 10-yard line. Good read that time by Grant Steen, who last week had 3 interceptions all inside the red zone against Indiana.
Iowa's defense gaining confidence, Mark, every week, and you've got to give credit to Norm Parker, one of the great guys in college football, coached here for a lot of years in the state of Michigan at Michigan State under George Perlis.
2nd and 13, Navarre, incomplete for Askew. Michigan's field position, Bob, has been horrendous. Listen to where they've started their last drives. The 4, the 14, check that. Yeah, the 14, the 20, the 15, and the 12-yard line. Makes it a very long field.
Well, and at some point, we've talked about this before, if you're Michigan, you start worrying about where do we go from here. I think it's critical they have some semblance of success here late in this football game and establish something.
3rd and long. Navarre, incomplete for Edwards. It's 4th down. And they'll have to punt. And this Michigan offense is lifeless right now.
It really is, Mark, and I think that's a great way to categorize that. But Iowa's pass defense, once again, comes in 116th in the country. That's a little bit deceiving because they're actually 59th in pass efficiency defense, which is much more the telling tale. But with this defense playing as well as they are, and 3 games left, you got to really talk about Iowa in the Rose Bowl.
They'll be talking about it back in Iowa City. Here's Hinkle at the 40. And Hinkle right up the middle. Right down Main Street to the 35-yard line. And the last time that Iowa won against Michigan was back in 1990. The Hawkeyes trailed late in the game and drove to the 1-yard line. Matt Rogers hit Tony Stewart. And Paul Gajawa scored the go-ahead touchdown. A little over a minute to go to give Iowa a 1-point lead. Elvis Gerback right there, picked off by John Derby with 56 seconds to go, and Iowa won the game, and they went to the Rose Bowl that season.
A lot of people have gone home, Mark. You look up into the stands, and it's obvious it's a 31-9 score right now with 8:36 left.
We alluded to Iowa's very favorable remaining schedule. Jamel Lewis down to the 32-yard line. You have to give Kirk Ferentz credit for keeping his eyes and his team's collective eyes on the prize out there, not looking too far ahead. But here's what lays ahead for the Hawkeyes at home against Wisconsin and then Northwestern. Then they finish up the season at Minnesota. And if they win out, they don't have to play Ohio State. They could possibly be looking at the Rose Bowl. Michigan, meanwhile, has that end of the season date with Ohio State.
Michigan has a tough schedule left, and it's going to be doubly tough coming out of this game with the emotions the way they are now, and their confidence has to be rattled, Mark.
2nd down and 7. Jamel Lewis, a gaping hole between the tackles. Lewis down to the 22, and Holly Rowe, what's up?
You talk about how Kirk Ferentz was able to keep his team focused. Well, he had a pretty unusual strategy. Last week, they were playing at Indiana, a team that has struggled in the Big Ten and could have easily been overlooked by this Iowa team. So he put a ban on the Michigan word. He said if he heard any single player on his team talking about Michigan, they wouldn't travel or play in the Indiana game. Pretty strict words from the coach, but apparently the players listened because nobody was suspended and didn't travel. They've looked pretty focused here today.
Well, he sure knows how to get his guys' attention, Bob.
Well, you wonder if by saying, is anybody thinking about the Michigan game, you don't bring more attention on it.
True.
By bringing it up.
Well, whatever he's done so far, it has certainly worked. The orchestrator, one of the greatest turnarounds in college football over the last 4 years. He started off 1-10 in his first season in Iowa City. Jamel Lewis brought down at the 23. And Reese Davis, tell us about that mad-throwing quarterback, Byron Leftwich.
Well, we told you earlier, Mark, that he passed the 10,000-yard mark in passing for his career, and he's not throwing it around against Central Michigan, finding Panero Marriott for the touchdown. Up at 226 in yardage right now. Ken Dorsey's well over 400. The Canes have finally put away the Mountaineers.
You look at the respective numbers of those two quarterbacks. I saw Leftwich play at length last year. He is the best quarterback in college football, bar none, I think.
One of the biggest.
Oh,
But you're right, Mark. I've had a chance to watch him play on television. He's got a big-time future in the NFL.
Second down and 11. The future for the Iowa Hawkeyes looking extremely bright. Jermel Lewis been able to crack that defensive code for Michigan so far in the second half, down to the 23. And folks, a special salute going out to the men and women of the 52nd Security Forces Squadron in Spangelheim Air Base, Germany. Watching the game on American Forces Network. Thanks for all that you do, fellas. Approaching 6 minutes to go here on a cloudy and now drizzling day in Ann Arbor, Michigan. A day in which the Iowa Hawkeyes came in and on their first two offense possessions, Bob, looked very impressive and set the tone for the game.
Go back again to the drop punt by Michigan after the Finley field goal, where Michigan had creeped back in the football game, had momentum. It's been all Iowa since that point.
And all Jermel Lewis in the third and fourth quarters. Jermel, like a gazelle, down to the 11. Brought down by LeSueur and John Shaw.
You know, there's two ways to look at this. Fred Russell's on the sidelines, actually resting a little bit. Jermel Lewis is in the game. You got to wonder what Fred Russell's thinking. Coach, I don't need any more competition. Put me back in. Let me get some carries here. Jermel Lewis is stepping up here late in this football game. Of course, it's a different Michigan defense right now, Mark, than it was early in this football game.
Jermel Lewis, meanwhile, over 100 yards rushing for the third time in his career. And there's a look at one of the credos, one of the team sayings for the Iowa Hawkeyes. Lewis puts it on the ground. He fumbled it.
Ball carried by Jermel Lewis. There's a loose ball.
Well, we gave him too much credit right there. He fumbled last week against Indiana as well.
But Iowa seems to have gotten the ball back. A big hit by Shante Orr to dislodge the pill.
You see Shante Orr coming in here out of the corner of your screen, knocks a football out of there. But Mark, when it's going good, it's going good. Jermel Lewis comes underneath the pile and gets it back. First thing he was thinking, I fumbled last week against Indiana. I better get this one back.
Jermel Lewis, 5'11", 208 pounds, a sophomore, pouncing on the loose ball and now getting a break on the sidelines. Fred Russell back in the ball game from nearby Romulus High.
Fred wants a little bit of this. It gets to be like a feeding frenzy right now, Mark. They all want part of this action here late in these games.
Like sharks to chum. Second and 10. Cervantes, the first man through. Hey, surprise, surprise. There's a fullback in the ball game that actually carries the game. Ball. Don't forget, it's the College Game Day scoreboard presented by Acura with Reese Davis in the studio. The Irish taking on Florida State, leading right now. #1 Miami having their hands full with West Virginia. And the Game Day gang down in Tallahassee as we approach 4 minutes to go on homecoming weekend.
Mark, I know you read Davey 101 this week.
You know it.
We talked about I formation, and there's the fullback in the game, Cervantes. They threw him a little bone right there. Gave him a little candy, gave him his carry.
Just your basic first man through it. Of course, Bob broke down the lead in the ISO play on Football 101.
He's going to be blocking again, Mark. It's over now. He had his carry.
Third down and 6. Lewis. Down to the 4-yard line. Jermel Lewis. And the clock now one of Iowa's biggest allies.
Excuse me. Nate Kaeding licking his chops over on the sidelines right now, wanting to get in this football game and kick a field goal.
95 has made a field goal from 19 today. That was his closest field goal this year.
That's too easy for him, Mark.
Yeah. Fashions himself as a real athlete, not just, and I say just, quote-unquote, a place kicker. Mark down at 3.
One thing about these Iowa fans, and you look in this stadium right now, they're not going anywhere. They drove a long way to get here, and they are going to enjoy every second of this now.
Well, we ran into a bunch of them back at our hotel last night, and they were in a very festive mood, and the party could continue right after this.
You have the ultimate power to look better, to be stronger, to redefine your body and yourself. Introducing the Bowflex Ultimate. Gonna make you possibly the best home fitness machine ever made. In as little as 20 20 minutes a day, 3 times a week, you can get real results that can change your entire body. With over 90 Health Club quality exercises and up to 410 pounds of resistance, it's like having an entire gym in your home. Bowflex is so effective that we guarantee you'll get the results you want in 6 weeks or less. Own the new Bowflex Ultimate with no money down and monthly payments lower than many Health Club dues. Call and ask for a free video and brochure and check out the entire Bowflex lineup or visit us on the web today. The new Bowflex for ultimate results.
Sorry, I got that receipt in here somewhere. Driver's license, bus transfer, $1 off fish sticks.
Actually?
Floss. Just in case. Movie stub, mint.
Actually, we keep everything right here, just in case.
Right. Just in case.
People lose stuff. That's why we can store purchase and warranty information automatically, so you won't have to search anymore. Circuit City, we're with you.
Floss? Who flosses anyway?
I floss.
I floss too.
ESPN's presentation of college football, brought to you by the more powerful Acura 3.5 RL.
Back here at Michigan Stadium, the Iowa Hawkeyes in control right from the tip, right from the jump, right from the kick. And right now, this one is cooked, glazed, and ready to be sliced for the Hawkeyes.
Is this attempt for 17 straight on the season, Mark? Is that correct?
Yeah, and 20 straight going back to last year. His last miss was in the bowl game last year.
I don't think it's possible to jinx him.
I think you're right. I think you're right.
Whoa, I was holding my breath right there. Great job by the holder, Bradley, getting that ball down on the tee. Earlier in the football game, we said he was a great athlete. You can see right here that he's struggling with it. He gets the ball down, and Nate Kading says, "Thank you, Bradley." That just made up for that fumbled snap you had on the punt.
They should create a new statistic in football. That should be an assist. Number 29 right there.
Well,
soft hand.
I don't think you really want to talk about basketball right now because we did play a little basketball yesterday.
I was hoping you wouldn't bring that up. But yes, folks, Bob Davie had me H-O-R-S to H-O-R-S-E. Got a lucky roll. College Football Saturday continuing on both ESPN and ESPN2 tonight at 7 Eastern. Wisconsin taking on Michigan State. Boy, the Spartans really struggling right now. Going to play without Jeff Smoker. Rogers will be in the lineup, though. And then later on ESPN, 7:45 Eastern, number 15, Tennessee against Alabama. Bama looking to end a 7-game losing streak to the Volunteers. Volunteers with a tough road ahead as well. They have to play against the Hurricanes at home still on their schedule.
Mike Gottfried and Ron Franklin down there in Knoxville tonight. They've done a bunch of games from Knoxville, Tennessee.
Out to the 24 is Lesor. Let's go to Reese.
Taken by Jeremy Lesor.
In Texas Tech, the only team that can pitch it around out there in the Big 12 is Colorado Buffalo. Robert Hodge may not throw it as much as Kingsbury, but does so quite effectively to Derek McCoy here at the Buffs. And a 16-13 lead at the break, and Wake Forest rolling over North Carolina. McPherson with an efficient day, 9 of 15, buck 77, couple of touchdowns.
First and 10 from Michigan at the 24-yard line.
Hey, Mark, I haven't been in this media thing real long in this broadcasting thing, but how about our guys, Bo Garrett, Bruce Truitt, Jamie Berg, all the people down in that truck? They do a great job.
Giving us wonderful pictures today. Cutting the pictures. Britton in at quarterback. Edwards out to the 40-yard line. Michigan trying to assemble some look of continuity to end this game offensively anyway, on a positive note.
Great thing for Iowa. Backup defense for the most part in there. Getting guys a chance to play. A lot of positive energy for Iowa coming out of this football game going into the stretch run of this season.
The lefty delivering high for Butler, and Iowa has scored 30 points or more in now 7 of its last 9 games. Here's a look at the updated standings now in the Big Ten.
Mark, these two teams, Iowa and Ohio State, do not play each other. If Ohio State wins out and Iowa wins out, you probably know this better than I do. Would Ohio State then go to the Rose Bowl because they're undefeated?
Second down and 10. It will boil down to several different factors, among them the higher-ranked BCS team. 34-9 the score. And we mentioned earlier that Iowa has 2 games remaining at home, 1 on the road at Minnesota to finish up the season.
I know this. There's a lot of things that go into this BCS poll, but they are better than being the 13th ranked team in this country. Bottom line, we've seen this team play a lot. They are a legitimately good football team.
Britton delivers complete to Edwards for the first down on Iowa's side of midfield at the 48-yard line. Well, Kirk Ferentz said a few weeks back when they burst into the national spotlight and their first national ranking at number 24, he said it was tantamount to temporary parking. We asked him about the number 14 ranking, and he said, well, we got a couple quarters in the meter. And Bob, like you said, might be time for some valet parking right now after this sack. Back at the 45-yard line. Derek Robinson doing the honors.
Once again, a 4-man rush. Iowa getting a lot of pressure with their front 4.
Under 2 minutes to go. I'm Mark Jones along with Bob Davie and Holly Rowe down in the field. Iowa on the verge of ending a 7-game losing streak against the Michigan Wolverines. And in the big picture, the Hawkeyes with a favorable schedule remaining. No disrespect to their opponents to follow. They are looking at a potential road now a little bit clearly, a little clearer at the Rose Bowl.
Well, one thing Britton better learn, he's a big target. Try to avoid those big hits in the open field.
Britton. Incomplete for Gonzalez. Stops the clock with 1:18 to go. Last week against Indiana, the defense for Iowa had 6 sacks. Today, 4.
And one thing that's interesting, the defensive end position at Iowa now has 17 sacks on the season between Howard Hodges, Jonathan Babineau, Matt Roth. Getting a lot of pressure out of those undersized defensive ends.
Kirk Ferentz 4 years ago started off 1-10. After that, they went 3-9. Last year, 7-5, including a bowl berth. Now they will sit at 7-1.
This is hard, Mark, for Michigan to accept. A team coming into the big house, coming into Michigan Stadium on homecoming weekend. And right now, Michigan 178 yards total offense. This is a difficult, disappointing loss for Michigan.
Little Gatorade shower for Kirk Ferentz, and I think he made a note of who got him on that one. He wrote it down. Britton under heat again. Falls back at the 48, Matt Roth. There's a look at Jamel Lewis beginning the celebration. We're here at Michigan Stadium. I'm Mark Jones along with Bob Davie and Holly Rowe, and Kirk Ferentz's team will improve now. Still undefeated in Big Ten play.
A lot of smiles up here in this Iowa section. A lot of smiles on Iowa's sidelines. But let's keep in mind for Michigan right now, a lot of injuries on this football team. And I think back right now to the scene of Cato June on that football field down with his family surrounding him. There's 2 sides to every situation. You feel great for Iowa. It gets as good as it gets right now. But on that other side, there's another football team and coaching staff that are suffering right now.
And a good report just coming to us. Cato June does have feeling in all his extremities, his arms and his legs. Iowa on the verge of improving to 8-1 overall, 5-0 in Big Ten action. And were it not for a couple of fumbles in the third quarter against Iowa State, they might be picture perfect on the season. They came in here with a lot of different obstacles, facing a lot of demons, a lot of ghosts of the past. 7 consecutive losses against Michigan. Well, you know what? Pressure makes diamonds, and pressure busts pipes. Right now, Iowa is looking like 24 karat. They're a diamond.
Well, and they should enjoy every moment of this.
The Iowa Hawkeye faithful making the trip all the way from Iowa City, still here in the stadium, cheering on their Hawkeyes. The final score 34-9. Number 14 Iowa defeating number 8 Michigan. Their first win in 8 tries against the Wolverines. Next week they return back home to Iowa City. And should Iowa see Ohio State lose against Penn State, they would have the lead in the conference. Coming up next, College Game Day scoreboard presented by Acura. 35 times.